You can call me stupid. Listen, you can call me sheep. You can say I'm lazy. You can say I'm weak. You think that using her would get to me. And if you're right, then you're in trouble, D. 'Cause I won't break, no, I know I won't wait. You're in trouble, D. But when it comes to her, you better keep it sealed. Don't you dare say a single word, or I will strike you where it feels. You think that using her would get to me, and if you're right, then you're in trouble, D. 'Cause I won't break, no, I know I won't wait. You're in trouble, D.
My timing is pretty good tonight, I have to say. Hey, everyone. Good to see you tonight on a wonderful Friday. How's your Friday going?
Good, really good. So
I just realized you don't have your
Oh,
clip-on mic. Sorry, you have to put it on that beautiful shirt of yours. Hey, everyone. I'm going to... Wow, there's a lot of you already. Good to see you all here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Hey, everybody.
We have a lot to cover. Just want to say real quick to everyone, Dukes, Eve, love you, Eve. Thank you for being here. Rock and Robin, of course, love you too. Geo Bortz, love you too, buddy.
Bouncers in the house.
Bouncers in the house. TN Twister, Luna Wolf. Man, we got some new people here tonight.
Yay.
Thank you guys for joining us. Boy. Archangel, Kyle, ZG6VX.
Wow.
Did I say hi to another realm already? If I didn't,
Yeah, I think
realm.
I saw you did. Yeah.
Chocolate covered pickle. I love your name.
Makes me smile.
Tio girl. I'm sorry if I missed anyone. We've got a lot to dive into. It's been a long few weeks. Angel P, welcome. Christine Whittle from Southwestern Ontario. Love it when people from other countries come on in.
A German Shepherd mom.
Also, we've got a bump up in members. I can't go through them all anymore because over 50. So I want to thank you all for who have become members. Sometimes I think a few of the recent interviews were members only. We never do members only. Members first,
right?
Which is usually a day to a week ahead of time,
like a premiere type thing.
And the two latest interviews were premieres.
Okay,
that's where we're all live and chatting, which is actually kind of fun. I really enjoyed that. I think we might do more of those. Where do we want to start? Hey, Kyle's Nail Candy. For those of you who have watched last few, we usually don't focus on one case for too long. Like it's Summer Wells a couple times, and then we go to Layla, and we've done other searches in the area. Lately has been very focused on Summer. Especially these last three interviews. Mm-hmm. What we're going to get into tonight is we're going to be talking about. I've clipped specific sections of Steve Miller's interview, Glenda Head's interview, and of course the one so many of you have been commenting on, Karen Elliott, Fred's sister. We have a lot to cover. I
Mhm.
do want to set some ground rules really quick because there's been a lot of drama, obviously, like usually happens when you talk about this topic. First thing I do want to talk about is people have heard about the cease and desist letter that we've sent to another channel.
Mhm.
I do want to make it clear tonight. Please don't trash that channel. Please don't say negative things about that channel. We're focused entirely. You could see in the interviews, we tried to focus it on the neighbor of Summer Wells, Fred Hill, and that's always our focus, as well as any other neighbors, Dawn and Candace. Of course, we talk often with Andy or about Andy, other people in the area, the 3 people we've interviewed. We are going to continue talking about the people who have either talked about the case or who live in that area.
Right.
They are involved in the Summer Wells case. They're relevant to the case. And if we're reporting on the Summer Wells case, we're going to talk about what has come out, what we're learning about those people. We definitely don't have to talk about creators, and we try not to. This creator, I'm going to say real quick, and we're not going to talk about this anymore because I heard she went on for 6 hours the other night, which is fine. All I want to say is people who don't understand why we created this, why we sent that letter. Shelly just said hi to you, Jen.
Oh, hi, Shelly.
I want to make it clear to everyone that we don't do this normally. Those of you who have been with us since the beginning, you know that we've been attacked plenty of times. I mean, people have called us everything, every name in the book. They're scam, they're stupid, they're fat, they're ugly, whatever. You know what I mean? I need to make it clear. The difference here is that it transitioned from opinion to blatantly falsely stated things that were stated as though they were fact. And when you do that, the difference is if someone calls me stupid, which has been said a lot of times on YouTube, that's what I was talking about when I said is when you're a creator, you can ignore it. You have to. People have opinions.
Oh yeah, they're gonna say this.
Yeah,
I expect that.
right. And people can
course.
comment their opinion. They can review your channel. You can't do anything about it. Like Six Up reviews her channel. Others review other people's channel. And what they do is they give their opinion. They give their critique. Okay. Hey, Nana, good to see you. Hey, Couple Geeks. Hey, everyone. Hey, Six Up.
Hey, guys.
The difference between what Six Up and review channels like her does and what this channel that we sent this letter to or tried to send a letter to, the difference is very specific claims that we can then now go in front of a judge and say, all right, this claim isn't opinion because it's stated as fact, and this person has to prove it's a fact. Defamation can be defended by truth. You can go, I've gotten cease and desist. I've gotten a lot of them. And the reason I ignore most of them is because they will come to me and say, oh, sometimes it's a blanket thing. I don't want you saying anything about me anymore. Nah, be specific. Tell me timestamps where I said a false fact about you that I can't prove.
Right.
If they send me a letter with the timestamp of a statement I made as though it was fact, without witness accounts, without documentation, I need to take that down, and I can be sued for that. It's not an opinion. It's a statement of fact that is false. And if I knowingly say it and I know it's false and I intend to use that statement to discredit someone, make an audience hate that person or dislike that person, that is easily prosecuted as defamation in court.
Right.
I'm going to explain this because I want to make it clear what the statements are we're talking about, and then I'm going to leave this behind because this is listed in the letter. I can't put the letter up because it is a document that you're not supposed to put it up. I'm going to explain what the claims are that we are going after that need to be taken down, and they need to stay down. Serious and demonstrably false accusations concerning us. Publicly claim that Ryan Dubé is helping hide criminal activity. That's number one. That he has been buying likes, views, and comments. That he is behind AI channels covering the Summer Wells case. I actually did a video how much I hate those channels, by the way. That he
ironic.
That he is hiding criminal activities in the Creek area where Summer Wells disappeared. That he caused Bill Shipley's family to message her in an effort to intimidate her. That Mr. Dubé's child was proudly supporting the Satanic Temple of Tennessee. I need to make it very clear that proudly supporting in quotes is important, because I can go and like a post of Trump's. If I like a post of Trump's, am I proudly supporting Trump? A one like, or if I like some music group or something, prove that it's proudly supporting. If I like Trump's post, am I going to events, and am I supporting him, and am I part of his political push? Am I doing those things? You have to prove it. You got to prove that I'm proudly supporting. So there's going to have to be proof that she's proudly supporting the Satanic Temple of East Tennessee. In addition, during live streams over the past year, including live streams involving 2 other channels that I'm not going to mention, they're big channels, she made or repeated further false statements, including assertions that Ryan Dubé is abusive toward his wife, and that Ryan and Jennifer Dubé are Satanists, and their daughters are Satanists, and that their daughters still live at home. All false statements. All false statements that will have to be proven to defend against defamation. And that's all I'm going to say about the letter. We know that her channel's been taken down. We understand that, and that's a good first step. The problem is we've been told that she's done this in the past, and that eventually she'll bring it back up. She'll bring it back up, and that's the piece we need. Affirmation that these, I don't care if she brings her channel back up, those specific posts and community posts cannot come back up. If there's something in writing sent to the lawyer here that says those specific posts will not come back up, and she will not make any more statements like that, it's dropped. Not going to push it any
I'm just curious, what happens if she does after saying she won't? What happens?
That's we move forward.
Okay.
And the cease and desist is simply a warning. It's a way to be nice to the person, saying, look, this is what you're doing wrong. We're asking you to stop. Please stop, or there's going to be consequences. And it's just a nice way to do it. We tried to deliver it twice. She wouldn't sign for the letter, so we're going to have to mail it or something. But it doesn't matter. It's a way to give them a warning. If she doesn't want a warning, that's fine. We can just move forward without any comment back from her, no discussion. If we need affirmation that it's not going to come back up. I also put a statement publicly anywhere on the other channel that they're talking on that those statements she made are false. Public statement saying they are false. That's it. It's dropped. We're done. We're done after that. So that's what the cease and desist is all about, you guys. It's not drama. There's a lot of drama out there we still don't respond to. The review channels saying horrible things, it doesn't matter. We don't care. We're not into drama, but there comes a point, if someone is trying to destroy your reputation, it affects your business, it affects your life, you have to defend yourself. You have to stop it. It gets to that point.
And as you know, for me, it's just saying something about my child.
Yeah.
that's my thing. But anyway.
So anyway, that's that. That was that order of business. I just want to clear that up because people were acting like, we're continuing drama, and we're not. It's just we have to defend ourselves. Yes.
So on to the show.
All right. I thought I had a second thing I wanted to talk about.
Oh, sorry.
It slipped my mind. So we're going to get right to the interviews. The first one is, and the way we're going to do this tonight, you guys, let me put StreamYard on the other side, is, I'm sorry. I've got this in clips. So I've got a section of the interview, and these are not specifically about Fred. I think some of them are. We're focusing tonight on, here's the second thing I wanted to make clear is the reason we are doing these interviews, we started doing them, was obviously the starting point were all of the misinformation from Fred Hill. But you'll notice, and I'll show you, this is proof here, that we are in the process of debunking Fred's claims. We're trying to get more information about Samuel's case, what happened on the 16th, on the 15th. And you'll notice that we ask the question almost every time, whether we suspect them or not of anything, where were you on the 15th? Right. And that's our approach. And then we try to find out more about the searches, what they know about that day. And that's what we're diving into tonight, you guys. We want to talk about, did we learn anything about the Samuel's case? from these interviews, and
Right.
I took specific clips out that were about Summer's case, and I want to get you all your input, your opinions. We have some opinions. I want to get Jen's opinion. She doesn't know what these clips are, so we doing that
As
too.
usually, you're going into it
You're going in
dark.
cold.
I'm going in cold.
Jen's going in cold. I'm going to play the clip, and then we're going to talk about it.
I just want to say, Kiki, thank you, and I can't wait.
What, that sounds funny? Where? You got to point to this one. Duke's. No. What color did she say she was going to get?
Oh, come on, stop. You're not supposed to talk about it.
No, they said they were going to get me leggings, and I had to do a dance if they get me leggings or something.
You have no idea.
I remember now. You guys are funny.
Sorry.
Pics are better than a video, so thank you.
We'll do pics.
Guys. All right, here we go. Let me share this. We're going to have a good, interesting discussion tonight about these videos, these I can't even remember what's it called? Interviews that we did.
You're not tired or anything,
Wow,
are
it's
you?
been a long week.
Yes.
Chrome tab and please share audio. I tried to crank the audio too on these when I made this so that you all can hear it okay. We're going to start with Steven. I think after that, in the middle of Steven's, there's a little bit of Karen's because I noticed something. They kind of complimented each other and raised some questions, which is it was really interesting.
Cool.
Okay, I'll shut up now. Here we go. Before we get to that, TBI collected a mattress as evidence.
No, a rug.
So it was actually a rug.
Yeah, it was like something you can see in a pediatrician's office or something. It's where it came from. My cousin had it in her son's room when they lived in the Eastern Star, or no, Rock Springs.
Rock Springs?
Yeah. They moved, and she brought a lot of stuff down here that they were getting rid of, threw it on this burn pile over here, and Brandon ended up dragging it back in the woods for him and his girlfriend to pull around on. That's where
Did they say why they wanted it?
I guess because they found it back there. They didn't know why a rug would be in the woods, I guess.
They found it back there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no.
Buffering. Oh, during their search for Summer.
Yeah, but no, they never said anything. That's totally.
I'm going to let it buffer. They're talking about that rug, the rug that TBI found when they were doing a search. It was in the woods nearby there. I think the claim was that it was a mattress, and Steve was saying no, but I do want to answer this question real quick. A lot of people are just wanting to know why debunk only, Fred said. What triggered this was the attacks originally on Nana for Life and Glenda. And the attack on Glenda especially was significant to us because when we started kind of talking about it with Glenda, it came out like there was a lot of these statements that were made by Fred that were very hurtful about Glenda, and then Steve and others in the area. So are there other lies others have said that we should be following up on? Maybe, but
if there are, then we will.
We would. It's the volume of them.
Right.
Big Skull. So I can't even pronounce your name. I'm sorry. It's the volume of them, and it's the what's happened. Oh, I'm sorry. That wasn't the first trigger. The first trigger for me was how we got into the case, which was we got set in the direction when we started the case. We went on to Cotton Simpson's story, and I saw what happened to me when I listened to Fred's stories about Cotton, and how I think I spent a year, you guys,
was it that long?
A year searching areas that he was saying. How do I make myself big? There we go. That was, don't even say it. Don't even say it. Yeah. I spent a year going places that I learned only a year later were completely incorrect, where it was the other end of Laurel Run Park. And then a year later, after going off trail, up and down mountains and up and down creeks and searching where Fred was sending me, I finally talked to the family, Simpson's family, and that couple that we interviewed. If you're interested, check out that interview. I think you just have to search for Cotton Simpson and it'll come up on our channel. I learned where he actually fell. I learned where he passed. And it was like the other end of the park. And it made me realize if I lose a year going in down some rabbit hole, can you imagine the rabbit holes that all of these other lies about not just cotton, but all these other things are sending people off in left field, distracted from the truth.
Right.
They're not headed toward the truth. They're headed down some rabbit hole that's completely made up. And that's what we talked about in these. There's many of them that we talked about in these interviews. Steve mentioned about Bill Shipley threatening Don. You guys remember that story? Completely false. Not completely. That's the crazy thing. There was a real story that Fred took and he turned it into Don. It wasn't even Don. It was a different person named Mark. And it was in a different town. So it's like that. Those stories are sending people in the wrong direction. That's why. And
a lot of these people are corroborating what each other says through
Yes.
the interviews, which is another, how many people you believe? 3 people or you believe 1 person, depending on what information you get.
Oh, I can make it really big. Look at that.
Oh my God, Ryan.
Here we go. I'm sorry. So he was talking about the rug. Hope everybody, I'm sorry for the buffering. Yep. Many, many times. We're still looking for a cave. Honestly, I'm sorry. We are looking for a cave.
Yep.
Out of curiosity, we need to know if there's anything in there, if we can find it. And we now have another lead that there could be a cave, and we're going to try to find it.
The illustrious cave.
We're going to try to find it. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully it's not going to buffer again. We'll see.
Like the book. And
Who came out with that story? Do you remember? Was it Fred?
probably all the bullshit I've ever heard came from Fred and Ziggy.
Yeah.
But he was saying it was a mattress.
So it was actually a rug.
Yeah, it was like I said, the little like a pediatrician's office type rug that had the little town on it with the roads and stuff like that on it. It wasn't a mattress at all.
Okay, so that's debunked. Yeah, so that's a small one. I don't know that it's significant that let's make ourselves a little bigger, that it was significant that the lie was a mattress. I mean, Fred could have misunderstood. And actually, you guys will probably be surprised about my opinion on Fred's various statements Fred has made tonight. That's what I wanted to say. Think about the rug. Number one question I want to talk about currently, why can't I get this right? Here we go. Is why would they care about the rug? We'll talk about in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
My mind has to stay on one track here, and I lost it. It's about Fred. Oh yeah. The important thing tonight is you guys have heard me probably get emotional on other channels. I've shared my frustration. I've definitely shared my anger outside of research. Tonight is about research, and when you're doing research, you have to take those emotions. At least I'm talking about myself. I'm not telling you all what to do, but what I do is I take my emotions about the person, about anybody surrounding the claims or what I'm looking into. And it's really hard when you're researching scammers, not these people in particular, but in the past, researching scammers, you get angry because you're like, why are they lying? And you get so angry that they're lying. You have to take that anger. You have to take all the emotion. You got to put it in a box, and you have to look at each one of these things without bias. And that means you can't assume bad intent, even though you want to, and you want to lean that way. So for each of these things, we're going to look at it like assuming neutral and try to understand what it means. So do you have any thoughts on TBI searching Light Hollow Road? They come across this little pediatrician's rug, and the way he described it was the kind with the streets and the little, you've seen those.
So it'd be for kids.
Is it just, do you think it's just because it was a kid's rug?
Maybe. But where did he say they found it?
Not far from Glenda's property.
Okay.
Right in the woods.
Would there be other kids that could play with it around there?
Yeah, I mean,
they could have put it out there for some kids to play with their trucks or something.
No, well, so Steve said that Brendan and his girlfriend used it for.
Okay. That shows what I know.
So I don't know. Was it just like, well, they thought maybe we'll just take it in and there could be DNA on it?
I mean, I'm glad they were taking every little bit of evidence personally because, could find something. You
Yeah.
never know. But obviously they didn't, or it would have been, used to
Oh, his cousin took it out there.
prosecute someone.
No, I mean that would be even if there was DNA on there and it had Summer on it, we'll never find out until the very end.
True.
So
True.
I guess they could be like, well, what if she was sleeping there and using that or something? There
Could be anything.
DNA on there.
Could be anything.
So that was the first thing that I was curious about. Like, why would TBI be interested in this rug, pediatrician's rug? But I guess you're right. They're going to be collecting evidence, whatever they find.
Right.
I wonder how much they found out there. There's junk everywhere,
I can't imagine. And I can't imagine that they found everything that would have been helpful either, because there's so much, there's so much left over.
You guys, when we are walking through the woods in the area, like there's washing machines and good point, Tian Twister. Concerned that she was carried there and wrapped in it. That's a good, yeah. And if so, there would be DNA. So
right.
Those who don't know, Light Hollow Road, this area that this was found in, is a 8-minute walk from Ben Hill Road. And that's from Fred's, because I told Glenda that it's an 8-minute walk. From Fred to 110 is probably, I've driven it so many times, it's probably 8 plus maybe 12 minutes total if you walk down there, and of course you'd have to go up by Fred's property, but
walking
12 minutes walking from 110, I would say 12 to 15, unless you guys other locals think it's different, but that's my estimate based on the 8-minute walk. So it's close to 110, and it's he does talk about the search and how heavily searched it was. 1 mile, Nana
okay
says.
It's about right.
Yep. So, all right. The next clip we cover, I'm not going to even try to guess. I can't remember. Here we go. Oh, good point.
That's true.
That's a good point. They could have alerted on it. Speculation, everyone. Don't go around saying they alerted on the rug, but that could be why they collected it. Yeah. Really good point. Wow, I didn't even think of that. It
could be any
and
matter of things.
It could be one they recognized. Someone said it was the families. Who knows? These are really good points. Thank you. Yep. Those are two very good reasons they would have wanted to collect it as evidence. All right. There was a story about Bill Shipley going to Don's to collect money because he had done work for Don. He went and Summer was standing there, and he threatened if he didn't get his money or else, something like that. And supposedly he was holding Summer's hand. That's debunked. Really bad.
He was saying it was a mattress on it with the roof.
I'm really bad about this. I do this all the time. I'm going to try to be careful tonight, not to forget to show you guys
stuff like that on it.
I do that all the time.
That would be bad.
There was a story about Bill Shipley going to Don's to collect money because he had done work for Don. He went and Summer was standing there, and he threatened if he didn't get his money or else. Come on. Else, something like that. And supposedly he was holding Summer's hand. What do you know about that story?
Well, there was no gun. He never held any little girl's hand, and it was not Dawn.
It wasn't even Dawn that he worked for.
No, because I worked there too. It was a guy named Mark. The best I remember, he was I can't remember his last name, but he was from somewhere around Buffalo, New York, somewhere in there. So the story was actually about this guy named Mark. When he went to collect money, he was going to collect money from Mark. Do you know where that was? Yeah, it was in Gray where we was working. He lived somewhere up in there.
Gray, Tennessee?
Yeah.
Okay. That's where this happened.
Yeah.
In Gray, Tennessee, not Rogersville.
No.
And it was a guy named Mark, not Don.
Yeah.
What? Okay. I love Steve's laugh.
Oh, he's great.
It's like,
He's great.
so the other Rockin' Robin, I know she researches a lot. She's been researching since the beginning, and I believe her. It must have been a PI. I think Steve said TBI, but he didn't know, so it could be. Yeah. Yeah. It was interesting to me because, and tell me what you think. If Fred is telling a story about a conflict with Dawn and Bill Shipley, and I'm trying to think of the reason why that lie would be told to create a story of a conflict with someone else and Dawn, right?
Well, that's interesting. I can't get my head into these people's head very easily. You know what I mean?
There's a reason for every story.
I'm sure.
And
or it could be somebody getting it mixed up in their head because they, weren't all there.
Well, he likely knew of the story of Mark and Bill Shipley.
That's what I'm saying, and maybe got it all.
You think maybe he got it mixed up?
Yeah.
So I want to get your thoughts hearing this next clip. Keeping in mind that this story seems to me to be creating this scenario where there's someone else having a conflict with Dawn.
Okay.
For some reason. Yeah. I'm on this one. I'm leaning in that direction. I think this is intentional misdirection. And then I was editing Karen's clip interview, and this hit me as I'm listening to hers. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the similar scenario. Listen to this, you guys. It's fascinating. Initial instinctive reactions.
Yeah.
What was that?
I asked Julie, I said, oh my God, what has Fred done?
That was your first reaction?
That was my first reaction. She said, I don't know what to think.
You guys close? Were you close?
We were close then.
Did you get a sense of how she was thinking?
She was concerned and curious as much as I was, because the only reference we had at that point, I take that back, I did know about Summer Wells.
You did? Oh.
Because 3 weeks before Summer went missing, I didn't know her name. I just knew a little girl. Julie had went to the store for Mom. Fred and Laura had rode with her.
Before I tell the story, I would like to know, anyone else in chat, if you know, is it true that, because we have to be fair, if that claim came from Kelly originally or if it came from Fred? I'm very curious. Do you guys know? Kelly told the story first, so that's important.
Okay.
Then thank you guys. Like I said, we've got to be fair, and if it came from Kelly, then it wouldn't have been Fred fabricating or
that's why we're doing
manipulating
this.
A story. Yep.
I mean, this is gonna be a really long live.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It goes
but
like this, but
it's really good though.
Yeah, because we want to know the truth.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing this.
So Jen may be right, and I may be wrong that it wasn't intentionally manipulation from Fred. So that's good. This isn't a claim from Fred. This is an instance that actually happened. I might share. Do I have my phone? Shoot.
No.
Well, I'll get to it in a minute. I tried to get confirmation of this story that Karen was telling as well. We'll talk about that.
And coming back in the holler, Fred made her stop at the bottom of the hill below Dawn's driveway because a little girl's bike was laying there. And he made Julie stop and get that bike. I asked Julie, I said, why in the world would why would he want a little girl's bicycle? He doesn't have kids. He's not around kids. None of his nieces and nephews are small children. Why would he need a little girl's bicycle?
Yeah. Come on, don't buffer.
Why is it doing that?
Bandwidth.
She said, I don't know. She said, they were coming in the holler, and Fred told her to stop and back up. And she said, why? He said, I'm going to get that bike, that little girl's bike. And she said, Fred, you don't need a little bicycle. Because I guess in her mind, to me, she told me in her mind, she was thinking he was just looking at something to scrap metal. Yeah. She said he kind of got ill with her and told her to back the fucking van up. And said, as she said, I didn't know what to do, so I just backed up and said he got out, he got the bike, he put it in the van, got back in, and she said, Fred, what in the world are you going to do with the little girl's bike? And
Oh man, the buffering's horrible.
his response to her was,
We'll get there.
I don't know what it fucking means. So when I say I didn't know about Dawn Wells, Candace, Summer, the boys, I didn't know about
Dawn will know.
them. I knew about a little girl's bike.
So what this did imply, and that is true. That is true. This is secondhand information, so we have to keep that in mind. And this was Julie and Karen got along well up until I think she said when Fred went to jail. She bailed him out. She bonded Fred out, so it was around that time when he went to the halfway house. So at this time, her and Julie were getting along. But you're right, secondhand information. If it's true, if this story is true, then it does imply there was some kind of conflict between Dawn and Fred.
True.
And I don't know what the conflict is. I want my phone to see if he ever responded.
I don't know.
Could you check the counter for me?
Sure.
So I wanted to understand this. I wasn't expecting to get an answer, obviously. I mean, get an answer, but you don't know when you're getting the truth. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, you guys. If you're getting the truth, and I did text Dawn. Dawn and I are on speaking terms. I ask him questions every now and then. Some people are like, Ryan, you're not going to get an honest answer, but you know, I'm going to ask, and I did ask him. He answered, and I asked if I could share.
And he said yes.
And he didn't answer.
No.
All I'll say, I'm not going to say what his answer was. All I'm going to say is I didn't get clarification on if there was a conflict.
Between him and Fred.
Fred, yeah. It's still unknown. I don't know what that was all about. If that statement is true and he said Dawn will effing know, then I don't get it. Karen says we were close until 1 week before Fred got out of the halfway house. Okay.
Okay.
So I tend to believe if she says Julie told her something before they had a falling out, I tend to believe it, but I don't know. What do you guys? Why would he take that bike? Number one, and what kind of threat would it represent? This is the part. Yeah, to take a kid's bike. He wasn't known.
I mean, he does like bikes.
He does like, well, okay.
What? I can say that. He likes
Yes.
bikes. Nothing wrong with that.
This is the part where you guys may be surprised at my analysis of this one. I think it could be related. There could have been a conflict before Summer went missing. I believe Karen too, 100%. There could have been a conflict between Dawn and Fred about something. The thing is, what makes everyone raise their eyebrows is it was 2 or 3 weeks before Summer went missing. Bad timing. Now, it does not mean we don't have proof. And it does not mean that whatever that conflict was a few weeks before Summer disappeared, it does not prove that it's related to Summer Wells disappearing.
Right.
That doesn't prove anything. It just means that there could have been a conflict between Dawn and Fred. Fred was doing this to like piss off Dawn for some reason, but we have nothing tying it to Summer Wells' disappearance. No. We can't prove that. There's nothing tying.
We don't even know if it's her bike specifically.
I
mean, probably was.
Yeah,
because it was there. But
I mean, it was at the base of their driveway,
I mean,
so I would think
we weren't there. We don't know 100%.
Bonnie says, sorry if I don't type much because I'm about completely blind, but I'm going to listen. That's okay.
Fine with me.
Karen impressed me. She was genuine and raw. I agree. She was amazing.
Yeah, Karen's great lady.
He could have taken the bike, so when later he sees her in the woods, he could have lured her away saying he found a bike. Maybe again speculation.
These are
I
all
don't. It could be related. The timing makes it suspicious, but again, we don't know.
Oh, Real Rock and Robin, that's true. I think I did see a picture with her on her bike.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know if somebody could find that. That would be
I think
great.
I heard they had several bikes. Stealing her bike would make her scream and run after him, possibly. Still believe that maybe made it to the road. Something happened somewhere on that road, whether she ran or was taken. Yeah, I am leaning in that direction, Kim. I always have. I feel like whatever happened at the base of the driveway because of the dogs and all that stuff. I really do. I'm leaning that way. Who did it? We don't know, but I have a feeling something happened there. Yeah. Again, we know so little. This story is interesting. It's disturbing. Yeah, Nana is correct. Maybe it was just stealing something because he could. That's what Julie thought. Like maybe he just wants to scrap.
Yeah, because I know Karen said he did scrap metal at one point.
There were 4 children. It could be anyone's bike. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's just a very interesting piece of circumstantial evidence. Yep. She did have several bikes, from my understanding. Yeah, I mean, and several people have said he was a known thief in the area. So it's hard. When I first heard it, where your mind immediately goes like, oh my gosh, just a couple weeks before. That's crazy.
So easy to have your mind go that way.
Yep. But to be fair, that's all we know. And I think the only thing I can lean toward is that there probably was some kind of conflict. Dawn wouldn't confirm. I'll say that. Dawn wouldn't confirm there was a conflict.
Right.
Just, Fred's Fred kind of thing. We didn't. Lake Superior girl. When I was a kid, of course, it was a small town, northern Maine. We just laid them around everywhere.
Probably in the road.
We were just usually lined up along the garage. We'd have all our bikes lined up over there. We didn't have anybody stealing stuff in that town. Usually, sometimes.
Oh, so small.
Maybe kleptomaniac. Maybe he's just a kleptomaniac. He's like, I'm gonna get that
Could
thing.
be.
I don't know. No way, Nana. I didn't know that. Oh yeah, I think I did. I think someone mentioned that. Yeah. Do you mind sharing what you did with it? Like, is it part of your beautiful patio? I think that's like a memorial kind of thing. It was nice of Candace to give something of Summers. If we find out why Candace went to Fred and bumped into Chad, would explain more about the Dawn situation going to Fred and the conflict. I think we do get to that later too. The statement that I think it's more likely now that Candace did go to Fred's and bumped into Chad. We have another person saying that in these interviews. So it's not just Fred said in that case or Laura said. But yeah, I agree. I think it could just because he's klepto. Yeah, I remember that story, Tian Twister. Sorry, Nana. I don't want to spread rumors. Right now, I just started a rumor.
Sorry.
I was just curious what happened to the bike. That's kind of cool.
Sorry, I'm trying to read. Gosh, you guys are prolific tonight. It's good.
Really good thoughts. I mean, really good input. For me, this was one of the biggest moments in the interview. My heart dropped because I had never heard that story before. Karen dropped a bombshell with this one. Then it's like you got to stop and think it through and like, okay, calm down. Doesn't mean he's guilty of anything. Just means this happened. And that statement was made. Can you put I can't use the mouse. She licks my hand. I keep trying to use my mouse and Moon keeps licking my hand. Thank you, Kiki. If Maud, Robin, you know our email, I think. If you can put it in chat, I don't mind. For Kiki. If you don't mind. Oh, and Candace said okay. So we have probably 3 people that are confirming that she did see Chad at Fred's. The time is up in the air. but we know that's probably true.
Okay.
Okay. Next clip. If Candace was going to Fred's, that could be one reason why Dawn had a problem. Well, the sighting was after. Sorry, Candace going to Fred's was after someone went missing, and the bike being taken was 2 weeks before, 2 or 3 weeks before. Unless you're saying, Kim, that Candace had a habit of going to Fred's, I guess that would cause conflict.
Yeah.
Speculation. All speculation.
Allegedly.
The going to see Chad was right after, I think that day actually, when someone went missing and she went to Fred's. Okay. Did TBI search around here? Oh, thank you.
Yeah, calm down.
I have to get better habits here of putting the video on the screen.
Goodness.
Did TBI search around here?
I'm sure they did. They came down and asking about going back in there and stuff. And
Okay.
I told them, yeah.
That's interesting.
Go ahead.
Do you know if they were doing searching down there too, like that property?
I didn't see them, but I'm sure they were. Just they were wanting to look in
This whole area.
Yeah.
Okay. So this was a hot spot for searching. They were all over this.
But yeah, from what I remember, it was right after she went missing, so they didn't know if she had wandered off or.
Yeah.
So they were looking everywhere.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we already said this.
Yeah. Sorry, I already covered that. But that was the reason that was such a huge. It makes sense that was a huge search area for TBI because it was. I thought if you drive, I'm not sure how far the drive is. Someone asked that today. Driving is not super short. I mean, you got to go all the way back to Beach Creek, take a right, go all the way to Light Hollow, take a right, go all the way up, and that road is long.
Yeah.
And so, and that's not long drive, but longer than I think I could walk. You could probably walk faster than driving, in my opinion.
It's like straighter as the crow flies, right?
Yeah, exactly. Trail right through.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense that TBI was searching this area of Light Hollow Road extensively. And a little later, we get into the ponds as well that they searched. If they searched pond areas, that might have been Karen and Nana in the background. So
that was Nana
in the background
really?
During the interview. Yeah. What do you mean? You were there, Jen.
Oh yeah. Huh.
Must remember Fred's criminal background proves he's violent. There is violence. Yes. Criminal record does show violence. Yes. Ziggy is absolutely sorry. No. Sorry. No going after other channels right tonight. We're not doing that. But thank you. Fred claimed that Dawn would park in his driveway to get away from Candace to do his reps. Fred claimed Dawn would park in his driveway. Got it. I was like flipping it around. Why would Fred go to Dawn's driveway? Got it. Okay. Yep. All right. Next clip.
Good job.
June 15th, 2021. Do you remember where you were, what you were doing on that day? Because I know you only found out later that she was missing, but can you remember?
I was most likely at work. I worked at Arby's at the time out here, connected to Zoomers.
Okay.
That is one thing Fred told the truth about.
That you worked for Zoomers?
No, I worked for Arby's at that time.
At Zoomers. Do you remember seeing either Fred or Andy on that day at Zoomers? Because there's stories that either one of them were there, or both were there. You probably couldn't remember this years ago, but
yeah, I do remember. I don't know what day it was, but Fred said that they had just dipped his phone, and they would probably be coming to dip mine. And I was like, well, if it's ever drugs or whatever, why the hell they need my phone?
Every time somebody says Fred said, I always think of the hashtag Fred said. Too funny. This one was interesting to me, and the reason I wanted to highlight it was because sorry, they had to have some kind of relationship. Oh yeah, you're hidden by the thing. Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can fix
don't mind.
Maybe I can fix it. No, I can't fix it.
Sorry.
You're gonna have to lean this way, Jen.
No, I'm good. Sorry,
okay.
guys.
They have to have some kind of relationship for him to give Don permission to do that. Yeah, that's true. I don't know how many times Fred's phone was. At least once. Yeah, we'll get to Cotton. We'll get to Cotton in a bit. We definitely will talk about that. I promise.
Gotta take that name out.
What name?
No, never mind.
The claim. I don't like this, Jen. Let's just go here. I don't like hiding your face. The claim.
I don't mind.
The claim that he said that Fred said he saw Andy at Zoomers at 5:30.
Right.
This is more interesting than it seems to be on the surface, because I'm trying to think when it came out, the claim about Candace being at the Exxon station at 5:30.
Mm-hmm.
Was it before or after Fred made that claim about Andy being at Zoomers at 5:30?
I don't know, but I know some
people who would know.
Yeah, I know somebody who probably knows.
An important question. Anybody in the chat who knows, what came first? The publication that Candace was cited at the Exxon station, did that come first, or did Fred's claim that Andy was at Zoomers? And I'm going to show you why that matters by looking at the map. I'm going to show you where those two places are and why that matters. Stop sharing. If we look at Exxon Sullivan Gardens, right? There's the Exxon station right there.
Mm-hmm.
Fred first. So we got to think about that. That's interesting.
So Fred said Andy was at Zoomers at 5:30.
And then it came out that Candace was at Exxon. Now, that is interesting, because I thought if it's the opposite, that would explain the claim. Here's the Exxon, you guys. The Exxon gas station's right there, Sullivan Gardens Parkway. All you have to do is you could walk. This is the Arby's that Steve was talking about.
Okay.
The Arby's at Zoomers. This is Zoomers.
Oh, it's in Zoomers.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why Steve kept saying, I work at Arby's. I'm like, oh, Zoomers? He goes, no, Arby's. I'm like, so Zoomers.
In Zoomers.
Yes. It's not far. And so that's a good question too, Stacy. A lot of those stories didn't match up, but this one in particular, if Fred told it after, then it would be like, okay, he heard the story about Exxon and he's like, I'm going to put Andy at Zoomers at 5:30. The time is exact when it was claimed. Strange. So some people are saying the Candace claim was first. Some people are saying Fred. Nana, I tend to think probably knows for sure.
Yeah.
She's got like
you other people out
data.
there who know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Could you check on that?
Some people are saying they think Candace was first. So it does matter, because if the Candace claim came first, then that would have been he stole the story, kind of, not stole it, but used that story to implicate Andy. But if it was the other way around, that's a whole different scenario. So I'd love to know from those of you who have tracked this whole thing from the beginning. Maybe Gobble Geeks knows from her database. She can check her database. The order of those things are really important, in my opinion, to know if it was a more likely fabricated. Some people are, okay, Robin changed her mind. It wasn't Fred first. So if it wasn't Fred first, if it was Oh. Nana's like, no, it was Andy and Zoomers. So I don't know. I don't know. If it was Fred first, then I don't know. I don't know. Then maybe that claim came from somewhere else. And it wasn't driven by the sighting. So that was kind of, when I saw that claim of Andy being at Zoomers in Steve's interview, it just made me remember, oh, wait, 5:30. Candace was at the Exxon, allegedly. Those two things are at the same exact time.
Right.
Which is really
That
weird.
is kind of funny. Weird funny, not funny.
Candace was mentioned at the Exxon early in the case. Never heard Fred talk about Zoomers until, okay. We'll have to find out. Maybe I'll make a community post updating you all and somebody can, maybe I'll find it. I have a feeling Gavel Geeks will be able to find it. She's got a
I'm sure she's
crazy
going to do it
database.
right now.
She's got a,
shuffling through her papers.
yeah, she probably has the timestamps and everything. So anyway, that's the map. That's how close it is. For those of you who don't know, it's crazy how close that is. Those two, and then both at 5:30. Has anyone searched those woods between Zoomers? I'll tell you what we've done. I don't know what TBI has done, except for taking cameras.
Right. Oh, there's a creek there.
So we've been, and you'll find several videos where we've gone. I didn't take Moon yet. I droned this whole area here and then actually hiked in there along the creek. We thought we found a black barrel, turned out to be a tube over here. We've searched this area. I've droned this whole area. If you guys can see my mouse, I've droned all of this. And then what's really interesting is the whole thing about the Exxon gas station is if there was something that happened in the area, it's not going to happen at the Exxon gas station. There's too many people, too much traffic. So Andy and Fred were at Zoomers at 5:30, and the gas station lady said Candace was in the Exxon bathroom around 5 to 5. That is true. Her time was shifted. We don't know exactly when. That's a really good point. Bad Log Files.
But it's
roughly the same.
Roughly
same
the same.
I think she even 5:15, 5:30. She wasn't sure the exact time. Other people have interviewed her different times. Roughly the same though, between 5:30. That's what she kept saying. So, and then again, if there was people have made a big deal about like people suggesting a handoff, right? Handoff, as if a handoff would happen at Exxon. They're right. A handoff wouldn't happen in this parking lot. There's people driving all over here. It's a busy road. However, for those of you who don't know the area, thank you. Miss Thornton just stole my thunder. Thank you very much. Yes, exactly. There is a significant pull-off across the road. Andy and I actually, there's another video where one of our drives where we pull in here and see this little dirt road. It goes way back here into this field, and this is completely surrounded. There's this little highway sign up here.
Is that posted? I mean, is it private?
I think it's abandoned because this is an abandoned barn.
Oh, okay.
So there's nothing out here. This right here, if I was a criminal and I was gonna choose a handoff point near the highway, prime spot right here, completely hidden, surrounded by trees, an abandoned property near a field, handoff here, and then drive out, jump on the interstate, completely gone, 75 miles an hour in 2 minutes. That would be my guess. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm not saying it was a handoff. I'm just saying if there was a handoff that happened in the area, it probably would have been this type of spot, and then wash your hands in the gas station or something, allegedly. Black horse was going down the road towards the north on waning moon daylight. That was a creepy video. The news interview with the horse running down the road.
That was creepy. Yeah, Eve, I'm with you there. This case is weird and odd and twisted and messed up. So hard to keep it straight.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's obvious to me that would be the most isolated spot. Where the tree company parked. Yes, and they have the cameras, so that would be evidence that they have that she parked there and went in there. Candace denies it. I'm sure you all know that. Candace says she was never there. Lady at the Exxon, very sweet lady, says she was. So
Just something to think about.
yep. All right. So that was that bit. Let's get back to the interviews. I don't know. It's a good question. I've always wondered about the boys. The oldest one turning 18 soon. Maybe that will change things. I don't know. Some people have speculated that when he's 18, that could change things, but
yeah.
I'm not sure. Oh, you mean when you say the turnoff, are you talking about the rest area? And that's not too far away. I think someone in our research team made that point. That the rest area down the highway would be another one, but too many cameras probably. If you think about it, rest areas have a lot of cameras.
True.
Okay, thank you. Gobble Geeks is weighing in. Candace at 5:30 is very new. Nobody knew about that for a long time, and when they did know, they had the wrong gas station. Yeah, St. Clair.
Right.
Yep.
I remember that.
That's a good point, Gabble. I mean, we weren't the first to talk about it. There was some other creators who had interviewed her. I don't know if they made that public. I know Nana's been talking to her, and eventually, you're right, it is new though. Whoever came out with it, it's newer. Good point. Thank you. So, okay. So probably Fred's claim of the Zoomers claim was not driven by the Exxon station claim. So we can set that aside.
Good.
Several people, Moonshine Girl. I know we did when we I'm not gonna claim we were the first. People get really, what's the word? Possessive of information, and if we claim we were first, they'll get all over us. We claimed it at one point after we talked to the lady ourselves. I believe there was at least one or two other creators who put that, or at least interviewed her before. And so we weren't first, but I can't remember when it first came out or who put it out first. Pretty sure it wasn't us. There was at least one or two that did.
Kim Holmes, I agree. And I wish I knew why. I think if we knew why, we might figure out the case.
Yeah, right. I think when it comes out, we'll understand why. Yes, and just to clarify, it was not St. Clair. It was not St. Clair. It was Exxon. St. Clair one came out a long time ago, and it was wrong. I don't know. Law enforcement has not weighed in on that, Mary Melbourne. I'm almost 100% certain they have not weighed in on that one. It would be nice if they did. All right, ready to move on?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, you said slow down.
Well, no, I meant with your thoughts. I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The other thing about the Fred claim with Andy at Zoomers is it also puts Fred at Zoomers at 5:30.
True.
And there was so much. I thought there were other things he said he was doing at 5:30. He was hauling a motorcycle at some point too.
I don't know.
To the west side.
Let's not speculate.
Okay.
Let's not speculate.
Anyway, I can't remember what time that was, and other people say it was a different date. That it was actually the 13th. It's sorting through the mess.
But what time did he say he saw Andy on the road, supposedly? What?
Are we going to talk about Andy on the road again? Really, Jen?
Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry, I'll shut up now.
Well, I talked to the owner of the place he worked at, right?
Yeah, I know but somebody said that he saw him, so therefore that's a lie.
Yes, okay, yes. The reason I'm not, okay, I'm not getting mad at Jen for saying Andy on the road. The phrase Andy on the road, we've heard so many times. It's every time someone says it, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna get in trouble for that later.
Now everyone's going, Andy was on the road.
You know how mean Ryan is to me. All the time.
Oh yeah.
Terrible.
But Running Bear threw in supposedly. So there's that.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Uh-oh. Get the gun.
Here. Who's coming after us?
Get the
Moon?
gun. Someone's here.
Ay, ay, ay.
Moon.
Hey.
It's our neighbors.
Okay.
I don't know, Jen.
Dude,
Peek out the door. Let
keep
me know if it's a red Toyota pickup.
Shut up. You're allowed to say that. I can't say, okay, fine.
We have neighbors. I'm not going to I can't give those details because that will give too much away. But anyway, we have neighbors over here that drive in. We have like a shared driveway. So Moon goes crazy every time they come in. Is it good? Are they over there?
I didn't check.
It's not somebody coming to.
Pew pew.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think so either. I really think that claim was completely just thrown out there. But again, we don't know. We haven't confirmed or debunked that one. That's just still out there. And there are so many.
We can't go through all of them though.
We tell you, I'll show you Duke's comment. I can't get past the statement Don Senior Sherfy made at the bottom of the driveway when all those YouTubers were down there at one of the days. These kids was going to get hit. Ooh, that's an interesting statement to make. Here's what Duke said. Now you guys are going to be doing that all night. We'll like bring up a topic and they'll be like, but Andy was on the road.
Hope he's on our road. She means he's going to be on our road.
On our road. Andy was.
That wouldn't scare me though.
Andy was on our road at one point.
Yeah.
He was working down the road. I heard he had a job and he was like, "Hey Ryan, I'm on the road."
Shut up.
No, he did. He did. He said, "Ryan, I'm on the road."
Oh my Lord. Okay, can we keep going, dear?
I'm sorry. Oh man, it's too funny. Here we go. Oh my gosh.
Saying my name was really Jason or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Because
Okay.
apparently I was.
Okay. Are you guys able to hear this, or is Moon like? Maybe I can mute. I'll mute. She's like losing it. Okay.
Sorry, guys. If I were you, I'd be annoyed.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Okay, geoboards. Enough is enough.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna mute, and I'll try to find the right spot.
They had just dipped his phone, and they would probably be coming to dip mine. And I was like, well, if it's ever drugs or whatever, why the hell they need my phone?
All right, we're moving on to the next clip. Hey, Bridget Gross.
Saying my name was really Jason or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Because
Okay.
apparently I was supposed to have emailed JLR or something.
He said you emailed JLR.
Yeah, saying something about seeing Candace down here on Lyholler.
Did you ever email JLR?
No.
You never even. Man, I couldn't even pay attention. Did you pay attention to that?
Sort of.
Barking, and I got distracted. Hi, Ryan and Jen. I was wondering if you guys could send prayers out to West Virginia Butterfly. I assume that's West Virginia. WE Butterfly.
Oh
She's
no.
fighting for life in the hospital. Her daughter has come on YouTube, letting everyone know. I'm so sorry.
Oh. Definitely send prayers to her.
Yeah, everyone, please. That's sad. I missed that. Did you guys catch that clip? I'm so sorry. 10th place Cotton LA Hollow. Let's just. Moon is so distracting tonight. Try this again. She's drinking water now, so she's quiet.
Saying my name was really Jason or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Because
Okay.
apparently I was supposed to have emailed JLR or something.
He said you emailed JLR.
Yeah, saying something about seeing Candace down here on Lyholler.
Did you ever email JLR?
No.
You never even. Okay, I remember now. Yeah, that's why that was important. That part. So his claim was that Steve had told Prayer Garden that he emailed JLR. That he emailed JLR claiming Candace was on Light Hollow Road.
Mhm.
Now, in my opinion, that is an attempt to place Candace on Light Hollow Road by
Sounds
Fred.
like it.
Like he's just using Steve as
Mhm.
the
Conduit
to try to place her there. Why would Fred want to put her there on Light Hollow Road? And there's another claim. Who's the other guy? Hey, Kitty Hawk. Who's the other guy? What was his name? Pat something. Who also made the claim he saw her walking out of the woods. There was another claim, not from Fred, who he said, and I can't remember if it was Light Hollow Road. Everyone was everywhere that day.
I know. That's what makes it hard.
Yeah. So Rock and Robin, that to me felt like clear distraction. And I don't know why Fred would care where people believed Candace was, but for some reason,
Right.
with this claim, he was trying to make people believe that she was on Light Hollow Road. When we know she was at Fred's at, I think, I'm going to get the time wrong. Nana or anyone else, please correct me. We don't have the time right. Between 3:45, 3:30, 3:45, around there, I think was when allegedly she was, maybe it was 4. See, I'm going to get it wrong. But sometime after Summer disappeared, we know she was on Van Hill,
Mm-hmm.
but for some reason, yeah, it was a neighbor, but they never said what road, I don't think. Just that she was coming out of the woods.
Yeah. I remember now.
Jeremy Pell, thank you. Thank you. Thank
Gavel,
you.
we love you.
Can always depend on Gavel Geeks. Jeremy Pell, that's the name I was trying to think of. Said his wife saw him, but I don't remember him saying a specific road just coming out of the woods, which really annoyed me because I wanted to know what road. I would tend to believe a neighbor. I don't know if Jeremy Pell is reliable, but I don't know that he isn't. So I haven't seen anything else from him that has been debunked as a lie. So, and that is the other thing, you guys. That's the other thing. I made a community post saying, and I want to make it clear, when I was saying you don't need to keep going back to Fred to see what he says about after Karen's interview, because what's going to happen, and I've seen this with so many in the past, looking into scammers, they will come up with a new story, another fabricated story that will explain the debunked lie, and it's a never-ending battle. It's like whack-a-mole. And so what I do personally, and you don't have to, but what I do is I'll take a person like Jeremy Pell, for example. Let's say I started looking into his claim and I interviewed him, and he started telling me other stories and different things. And if I found that he was telling me one lie, then I have a ranking in my head. I'm like, okay, then his credibility just dropped. And if he tells me 2 lies, credibility dropped even more. 3 or more, it's like, I'm not going to listen to anything he says anymore, because he's obviously, if you think about it in a court of law, the first thing a lawyer wants to do, if a prosecutor puts a witness up and they tell a claim that makes the defendant look bad, the first thing the defendant's lawyer is going to do is go through everything that person has said and bring up documentation to prove that even just one thing was a lie. That's all they have to do. If they can prove that person lied once on the stand, everything else is thrown out. Everything else is thrown out. Yeah. And that's how you have to research. And once one person has been proven to be a liar, you cannot keep on taking things that they say as research, as evidence. That's all I was trying to say. If you want to keep on doing that, that's fine. That's your own method of research. I was just trying to help people align with trying to follow the truth rather than getting lost in the weeds of, you're never going to get the truth. That's all. So this is a attempt to place Candace on Light Hollow Road. Maybe, I don't know. I'd have to speculate. That's why I was curious why you all thought he would want people to believe she was on Light Hollow Road instead of somewhere else. Jason McCracken too. I like that last name. I have not spoken to Jeremy. That might be a good interview, actually. Never thought of that. It'd be a short interview. I don't know how much there is to ask.
Well, we can talk to our people and see.
Yeah.
They might have some
Yeah,
questions.
maybe. That's a decent idea.
Mhm.
That story about the son was supposedly he was on the property around there, and I think they justified it by saying he was just checking the mail at the base of the driveway. I heard that story too. We haven't really looked that much into that one, but I've heard a lot of people wonder about that. Okay, there was that claim. Any other thoughts? Fred did. That was another Fred said, wasn't it? The boog was in the. It's not booger, it's boog.
I like booger
Just so you know.
better.
In a swimming pool this summer, I heard that. I heard people deny that it was true.
Mhm.
One of those things that, and it was a little swimming pool, you guys. It was like a kiddie pool, really, that they were using to like lay around in. And I mean,
Hey, Rita.
I don't know. I didn't put much weight into that personally because nobody else has confirmed it. Most people have denied it that were there, like the Wells.
Right.
If Fred did have something to contribute in court, he would not be reliable. Yeah. Agreed. I mean,
That's true.
and that's not an attack. That's just a fact because so many things have been just debunked. There were a lot of pictures of kids in the pool, for sure. I didn't see anything that looked.
I haven't seen a picture, so I don't know.
Swimming pool is provably false. Video. Thank you. Gavel Geeks is putting out. She put out not long ago a 7-hour video. You guys, she spent 7 hours going. Here's a Fred claim. Here's the proof that's not true. And it was like one after the other. She did some amazing work, and Gavel Geeks is continuing to work on future videos.
Can't wait.
She is putting in so much work, you guys. And thank you, Gavel, for what you're doing. It's important to just put the truth out there. Maybe we'll reach out to Jeremy if he's willing to chat. Would be interesting. Another local. People have asked me to reach out to. Yeah, I told everyone, Gavel, to put in earbuds and watch it like a podcast during the day. Just like people have asked me to reach out to Julie. Definitely would be difficult because there's Julie and Karen are no longer talking after Fred went into the halfway house, so can't take that approach. And I don't know her position. I don't know her state of mind.
Wouldn't hurt to ask though.
And the other thing is credibility is hard to come by. And in Karen's case, I told Karen this. I was very open and honest. I said, look, I did a bunch of background checks. I've got, this was after the interview, not before. But I told her after, I'm like, I did a bunch of background checks. I knew the history, and I was very impressed that the story as you were telling me, I checked it off the list. She's like, she mentioned that charge, boom. She mentioned that charge, boom. I didn't have to ask, and as we were going along, she just kept telling truth after truth after truth. So in my credibility score kept going up and up, and that's why with Julie, I'd basically have to do the same thing. I don't know how easy that is, and I don't know what she would say that I could prove. And what's nerve-wracking when you talk to someone new and you don't know their credibility is they could be telling you lies. And if we go, let's say we interviewed Fred, for example, at this point, every single thing he says, we don't know. We don't know if it's credible. We think it's not, and then we'd end up making a mistake and putting misinformation out there, and you guys would hear misinformation, and that would create more stories, and it's a dangerous thing to do. I would like to interview Julie and find out if she's credible. I suspect she is. My opinion, based on the stories we heard from Karen, is I think she's credible. I think that she would want to tell the truth. I don't know if she feels comfortable enough.
I think she's kind of nervous.
Yeah.
Or scared. I don't blame her.
I don't think she feels as comfortable as Karen is to tell the truth at this point. I could be wrong. I'd love to talk to her.
I wouldn't blame her though.
Me either.
I mean,
yeah. Yeah, Ronnie Lawson, like he would ever talk to anyone. He barely talked to Nana and Karen in that recording. And I guess he doesn't like YouTubers for one thing, regardless of the type of YouTubers. If you're a YouTuber, forget it. So.
Well, I don't blame them that either.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so too. Running
Yeah,
Bear.
I was alluding to that.
I really think that she believes he could be, and for her to feel comfortable enough to speak openly about the things that just the few claims that we heard, I don't know. It would be nice if she would be willing to, but I don't even think she'd be willing to talk to TBI. I think she might be that scared, to be honest. Julie wouldn't be scared of nothing but the backlash. Okay. Coming from her sister. And that's understandable too.
Mm-hmm.
I did ask Karen a couple of times, is she scared of Fred? And she's like, we're not scared of Fred. We're scared of what we know what he's capable of. She doesn't like it when we say you guys are scared of Fred. So I understand. Okay. Next up. Before he came on the internet, so he was supposedly texting at least Cotton from what I've heard. Was he ever coming down here before he went on the internet? Was he talking to you about shit? Did he come down here and start talking to you or Glenda about anything?
I guess it wasn't really about summer. It's about probably the first thing I remember him saying about anything having to do with that situation was hitting.
Buffering.
Somebody with a pipe that was
the pipe. The pipe's a good
sneaking around on his property.
He told that story back then before he was even on the internet.
Yeah.
About hitting a pipe. What do you know about hitting someone with a pipe? What do you know about that story?
Well, I kind of think it's bullshit because now he's saying he's hit, or it was 3 women or something. I can't remember all of them name right now.
Yeah, the YouTubers.
Yeah. But he came down here and saying, I mean, that night, I remember he was ghost white. I thought maybe he'd done too big of a shot or something. But
Did he come up here through the woods?
No, he was riding a motorcycle that night. He pulled in right here in park and walked up talking to me. I don't know, he was just acting funny.
Do you remember what year this was?
I know it was warmer weather because he's riding that motorcycle, but
this is important. The buffering.
It may have been 2020.
That's so annoying. Oh my gosh.
22 maybe.
So he pulled up here with a motorcycle. Katie Hawk, I'm going to get to your comment in a second. And if you want to repost it, I'm going to ask my mods not to delete it. I'd like to see Katie Hawk's comment. If it needs to be deleted, I can delete it. But I'd like to see what it was. You're the first one he talked to.
Well, he came in and had Mom holler at me. I was in the bathroom, and I walked out, and we stepped out on the porch. Well, hell, it might have been 2021, because Ricky Cropper still lived here, and there was a lot of shit getting
Yeah, okay.
stolen.
Okay. Though, so this is another one where I caught 2 stories that seem to align with one another. The important thing to take away from this is Fred was telling Steve that people were sneaking up on his property. I was looking forward to getting this part in this, and he wasn't sure 2022. Then he said probably around 2021, not long after Summer disappeared. Fred's telling his neighbors that people are creeping up on his property. And the whole pipe story, it morphed over time. All of a sudden it became a pipe story with YouTubers who were searching years later, maybe a year later. I can't remember when the folks went up there to search, but it became, he hit one of them on the head. But the first time it came out was actually this early one that he was talking to his neighbors, telling people like Steve this story about people came up on his property. He freaked them out and he like swung a pipe at them. This was a very early story before it morphed into all of a sudden it was YouTubers. That's what Steve was talking about. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Either he's actually paranoid or there were people on his property, or he wants people to believe that he was being that people were creeping on his property. And it becomes a little more clear when we listen to another clip from Karen. And I wanted to answer one quick question too. Somebody just asked a while ago. Oh, that's a tough question. I don't want to get too distracted from what we're talking about. I'll just say really quick that that I have taken a few things seriously in the case that other people haven't. I think the footprints are important. I know other people don't, but I do think the footprints are important, and I think the dog stomping at the bottom of the driveway. So where I am currently in my top theory is that something happened at the foot of the driveway. They didn't go out of Ben Hill, they went into Ben Hill, and then something was hidden. Something was taken out of the area through the woods, I believe. That's kind of where I am right now, subject to change. So
I don't understand. Okay.
No, because the YouTuber story came out years after the pipe story actually first came out. He was telling neighbors about the pipe story, and the YouTubers were only going up searching in the area. Not even the whole story about him attacking the YouTubers was false. A bunch of other things happened that day, but he changed this first story where they were random people, mysterious people on his property. All of a sudden, years later, when they visit the area, now he makes it YouTubers, which is really weird. Yeah, they probably.
Well, that makes it just a little more interesting.
Yes, it gets even more interesting. In June of 2022, Fred says in his interview that the event with Bill Benton had occurred 6 months earlier. The people they accused went in November 2022, so not the YouTube people. Yeah. I think it's obvious it wasn't, because the story changed. You have to look at where the story first surfaced, and it might not even have been on YouTube. It was to neighbors. He was talking about this to neighbors late 2021, early 2022. But then Karen makes a really interesting statement that kind of helps us understand what's going on here, in my opinion. We're going to move on to another topic, or other topics. Is it true you were told about a book bag being found by a friend at some point?
A backpack.
Okay. When
Yeah.
was that?
That was about 5 days after Summer had gone missing. They had opened the holler back up for traffic to come and go without checking vehicles or anything. And I had Julia needed to take Mom some groceries and stuff, and I had rode down there with her to help her. And when we got up there, we unloaded everything. Mom wanted me and Julie to ride up Fred's and check her mailbox and just see.
Me too, Dukes. That's kind of where I am too.
How Fred was, see if Fred was there, see how he was.
When was this?
5 days after Summer went missing.
Just 5 days after Summer went missing. Okay.
Yeah. And so we ride up there. Of course, we pull up to the camper before we check the mailbox because we wanted him to know who we were and why we were there, because it was getting dark.
Okay.
And me and Julie both were standing in the driveway, and Fred was standing there talking to us, and he was very concerned and worried, felt like he was being set up. he said that he had found a backpack at the top of his driveway, I guess on up from where we parked, that had, he said, drug making paraphernalia in it. I don't know what that means.
Did you see the book bag? Did he show it to you?
No.
Or the backpack?
No.
He just told you what was in it.
He just said that he had found that, and I said, I just made the comment, well, I hope he just turned it over to the police then. And I don't remember what he said about that.
Did he found it outside or in the house?
It was outside in the driveway.
In the driveway. It's like somebody had dropped it.
Like somebody had just set it up there or something. He said it. He said it.
Come on.
It belonged to him, and he didn't understand where it came from.
We're almost there, I promise. Okay.
And he also mentioned that he found some little girl's clothes in an old washing machine outside on the property somewhere, and he felt like somebody had put them there. And again, I said, well, I hope you told somebody. I hope you turned it in or whatever. And I don't know if he did.
Have you seen the clothes that you're
No.
talking about? Okay, he just claimed he found little girl's clothes in the washing machine outside.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 days after Summer disappeared, he's claiming people are trying to set him up. And he's finding things on the property.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't put this, this is what's fascinating, you guys, about interviews, is you'll talk to one person, you talk about a whole bunch of stuff, and then you talk about it to another person, talk about a whole bunch of stuff. But as you really look through the content of what they're saying, all of a sudden it's like this thing this other person said is really relevant to what the person you just interviewed said. And to me, the time frame's the same here if you think about it. Karen's talking about 5 days after Summer disappeared, they're at Fred's and he's acting paranoid. He's saying that someone planted a backpack filled with drug paraphernalia on his property and a child's piece of clothing in the washing machine. Around this same time period, he's talking to other neighbors, making the claim that people are coming on his property, that he has to swing pipes at them. Why was he trying to convince his neighbors and his family that people are trying to frame him? Were people actually actively trying to frame Fred at the time? Or was that a cover story because he wanted people to believe he was being framed? That's the question. And I don't have an answer. I am curious what you all think. I don't know, other than the fact that there's subsequent, stories that are also not true,
right,
which reduces his credibility. But does that mean that he was guilty of doing something and he's trying to cover his tracks with these two, with talking to neighbors and his family saying there's someone trying to frame me?
right.
Isn't that weird?
It is very weird. I don't know. I'm having a hard time because I'm trying to read the messages. But
Thornton says, I think he was wanting people to believe he's being framed. There's a lot of distraction, and it's really hard to understand how much could be true. This isn't debunked, other than the later story about the pipe and the YouTubers. That's absolutely not true, because he was saying the same story in 2021, 2022. So we know that's the first time he was telling that story to locals, to convince them or tell them that people were creeping up on his property. I don't know. I don't know why, if it is distraction.
it could be.
But it could be distraction. How can it be found out what happened to the hair in the tarp? They probably did. There's not going to be a news story, because what would have happened? Well, I guess if it was another body, there would be a news story.
Yeah,
Or if it was related to Summer's case, we're not going to hear about that hair.
it wouldn't have been, because she did not have.
No, I'm not
long hair.
saying definitely it wasn't Summer.
Oh.
Well, most likely it wasn't Summer. You're right.
Yeah.
But if it was someone related to the case, it'll never come out. We'll never hear what the hair was until somebody gets arrested and it goes to court.
Right.
If it was completely unrelated to Summer's case, I would think that it would have launched a separate investigation, and whatever came out of that could be announced at some point. But I haven't heard anything either. So we know they have the evidence. Karen said they collected the evidence. Maybe Fredo wanted people to think he was being framed just in case something found true on him or his property.
That's one reason, maybe.
He could have been nervous. People were putting stuff on his property. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to believe if the backpack was him setting up the backpack, or I don't know.
I gotta be honest. I don't know how you guys keep this straight.
It's a lot, isn't
I'm
it?
having a really hard time. So if you guys are, then I'm with you. I'm sorry. It's just something about my brain doesn't keep. Somehow you keep these things together. Like
Gavel Geeks has a database in her computer. I tend to keep a lot in my. I don't know.
you have a database in your head.
Kind of. I look for I'm a very like our daughter's like this too. Our youngest daughter, patterns. Like
Right.
That's why when I'm watching one interview and all of a sudden I see something else that matches the pattern, they're connected, and I see that.
I think for me, it's I get distracted because I'm so into the emotion of everything.
Yeah.
That's all not all I care about, but that's what I'm like drawn to.
Yeah.
So sorry if I don't have much to say.
It's totally, yeah.
It's just like whoa.
like Duke said, it's almost 5 years of
yeah,
information.
true. Okay, that makes me feel better.
Georgia Wild Child. Yes, I've of course definitely thought of interviewing Hunter, but he has a gatekeeper in the form of his father, so it's hard to get to him, and
But he's older now.
And he is older. I don't think he's willing to talk to anybody. He's told his father that he's not willing to talk to anybody except law enforcement. So we probably couldn't get any information from him. Yeah, I don't know. Fred did too many drugs to keep this. Yeah, keep changing story. I feel bad his sister. Thank you.
Yeah, I think a lot of it could have been the drug use. Could have been him getting things mixed up because of that.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. Very, very good question. Because I don't know if you saw it in the interview. I might not have included it. But
Yeah.
I started saying, how do you know the hair color? It must have burned. And I was thinking about that.
She said there were ashes.
She said there were ashes. And now I'm thinking about it. And one scenario that could be true, that could be the case, is if this is crazy, you guys. So we know it's most likely not Summer's hair because her head was shaved. If someone blonde had simply cut their hair.
Oh, come on.
I'm just saying.
Ryan.
In the garbage, right? And put it hair in the garbage, and the garbage got thrown into the ashes with all the other stuff, then maybe it's not even related to a crime. It's possible the hair is not even related to any crime.
I don't know.
That's my speculation. I don't know why there was hair there. It's just another crazy. And I mean, we know law enforcement showed up. They collected that evidence, the ashes, everything in it, and the comment was made, "We have a problem," which is really weird. And I could understand if it was related to another case or another person, that would be a very big problem because they have a missing child in that same area. But I'm missing Nana's comments here. Not sure you could believe anything. Yeah.
Don't know.
That's the other thing. It's like, it's hard to know. We want to really talk to people. The ideal interview candidates are people who haven't really been mentioned, that are local to the area, that might have insight, but they haven't come forward. They haven't talked to anyone. A lot of the people who've already ended up on YouTube, it blew up, and sometimes they've changed their story, or
they want nothing to do with it anymore.
Yeah, the attention has just ruined kind of poisoned their story. So if we can get to people who have not said anything and do a a respectful interview, asking about what they know about what happened on that day before any else can contaminate their story, that's ideal for us. So we prefer people who have not been heard of. Yeah, they did. That's right. They checked out. I heard they checked out all of the RSOs, and I heard a statement. I thought maybe it might be even on the TBI page that they were all checked out. I think it is on the TBI page, actually. DNA is advanced. They do not need the root. I mean, yeah. It is. That's creepy, too. I think that is a weird, like, witchcraft curse type ritual or something.
Okay, Ryan, now you're making up stories.
Now we're going down like a really weird
Come on
rabbit
now,
hole.
let's focus.
Okay. All right. Let's get back to the next clip.
Hey, Kitty Hawk. I don't know what happened, but I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what happened either. It does not need here to obtain. Yeah, I've heard that later technology today does not need the root.
Mhm.
Yep. I'm glad you're still here, Kitty Hawk. But there's something I've been looking into. A researcher of mine mentioned to me that Don Wells came to, on the day that Summer disappeared, he came up here to hide drugs, and he was trying to hide drugs with Ricky. Do you know anything about that story? At all true?
I only seen Don down here one time. It seemed like he was walking when he came down here. I just got back with Ricky. I was helping him get his stuff out of where he was moving out of, but I don't know.
Okay.
Don't know exactly what day that was.
You're not sure if it was around the time when she disappeared?
I don't know if it was around that time or after, or I'm sure it was after she disappeared because he wouldn't have been down here otherwise. But I never spoke to him or anything like that. But it was obvious he knew Ricky. And I asked Ricky, I said, what the fuck is he doing down here? He said he was out walking, looking for Summer. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, so yeah, I mean, that had to be after she disappeared.
That's the only reason you know he ever came here. He was talking to Ricky.
Yeah.
Ricky said he was looking for Summer.
Yeah.
Okay. This one, I'm curious what you all think. So a lot of people have said that Dawn and Candace never searched for Summer. The reason I asked this question of Steve was because I heard a rumor that Dawn had gone to Ricky's to hide drugs before, around the searches. Ricky told Steve that Dawn said he was there because he was looking for Summer. I'm curious I don't know anything about Ricky, and I'm not going to speculate about Ricky. I think we talked later that we don't know his whereabouts during the 15th, and he was very close to Fred.
Okay, Kitty Hawk had a question, a comment.
All right. About the Facebook post and boys, there's definitely ghost. Oh, sorry. I don't know what happened, but I wouldn't mind seeing the comment again. Dawn did. Yeah. So if it's true what Ricky's saying, then Dawn was searching for Summer right after she disappeared, which would imply that he didn't know where Summer was. What do you guys think? Is the story from Ricky, would it be made up for some reason? Or can we conclude based on that story from Steve, what Ricky told him, that Dawn didn't know where Summer was at that time? Now, it doesn't debunk the abduction due to drugs, because then he still wouldn't know where Summer is.
True.
So that doesn't completely wipe out that, but it's interesting that people saw Dawn searching on that day. Again, if what Ricky's saying is true. Oops, sorry. Jeez. I got to read comments before I put them up.
Sorry, but there are certain things we don't talk about.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah, we don't put that on. Maybe acting. He was in the area for some reason. Why else would he be out there? I don't believe Dawn was involved. Candace was negligent. in that theory, it would make sense. If it was only Candace that knows what happened, then Don would be clueless and he'd be searching. Allegedly. Speculation completely. Yeah. Yeah, we know very little about Ricky, except Glenda said that they were very close. Fred and Ricky were very close. I mean, I would think he wouldn't care about telling Steve, because at the time Steve was, in that world. He wouldn't care. He'd be like, yeah. I don't know why he would lie to Steve if he was lying. I don't know. So, Dukes, I've heard the story. People talking about he went to the shed first. Going to the Fred's part was interesting, but I mean, if my daughter was missing, I would check every structure quickly, and shed would be one of the first places I'd check if she was hiding. So I didn't read too much into that, but I know a lot of people have.
What a good comment.
Yeah, I know. That I don't know, Rosemary. People have said.
No way. Somebody said something that would have made sense. Because the hair would show. Where was it?
Up above?
This one.
To avoid history of drug abuse. Well, yeah. School was just starting. It's an interesting theory.
That's true.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that too. That school was just starting.
Yeah. Other people have said it's just lice, like kids get. So, but yeah. Anna, does anyone know why someone's hair was shaven? Yeah, that's kind of what we're speculating on. The other Rockin' Robin says she thinks Ricky lied. I don't. I mean, if maybe he would lie if it was drug related. Me too. I would definitely be checking sheds. Nana says, Rosemary, Don and Candace say one thing, but I have my opinion. Yeah. So, I don't know. That's just another little thing that I was wondering about. This whole, Ricky was saying Don was searching right after Summer disappeared. It was just really interesting. So, next up. Speaking of Pete, so Brandon mentioned that's Brandon's father, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Brandon mentioned in the JLR video that him and his dad often went out in the woods, and they were. So, do you know, was Pete actively also trying to look for Summer?
Oh yeah.
Before he passed.
Yeah, after he found out about it, he was in the hospital when she disappeared. He was having.
Thank you.
Seems like open heart surgery at that time. So he didn't know about it until he got out of the hospital. And Pete, he loved kids. He would probably kill somebody ever hurting a kid. And they're saying all this shit about Pete was the number one suspect. I heard Laura say that one time. That's total bullshit.
No investigator ever said that or ever told you?
No.
Did they interrogate Pete at any point?
No.
What is my?
Ryan is involved in some technical difficulties.
And it really pisses me off that he's saying all this shit about his sister, too. I didn't know her before any of this.
Which one?
Karen.
Yeah.
But I just can't. I don't have any brothers or sisters biologically or anything like that, but I can't imagine if I did ever saying some of the shit that to her. I've talked to her probably more than I have Nana or anybody.
And the things he's saying about her are just complete lies.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't there obviously these times he's talking about.
Just the fact the fact that he'd say that stuff about his own sister.
Yeah, especially the stuff about her having something to do with or killing her husband or something like that. I mean, that's just.
That's true, Miss Thornton.
That pisses me off.
Yeah.
Karen, she's a really nice person. Yeah, there's no way possible that I would ever think she could have anything to do with anything like that.
I did want to highlight that just because it was an important, I think, statement from Steve about the lie about Karen's husband. So I did want to highlight. I forgot to link the interviews in the description. I will right after this. If you guys haven't seen it, please watch Karen's full interview. Very emotional, but she told the truth about all of that. I just wanted to highlight that. Steve also stood up for Karen. He stood up for her character, and that she's a very nice person. So people are saying there's very few bad comments on the interview. There are some people saying they think she's lying. Very few. I just wanted to make sure that they also saw Steve knows her very well, and he vouched for her character. So I've been on Top Chat.
What's Top Chat?
I assume it's chatting a lot.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, so Glenda Head. The first time I heard your name, I know you've been mentioned all over the place online. The first time I heard your name was in connection with Cotton. So you were married. So I plugged in my network cable thinking it would stop this
Buffering,
but man, can't stop it. Well, because we've got the live going, and this is streaming from Google Drive, so it's like 2 streams at once.
I see.
So I apologize, you guys. I hope it's not too irritating. But the buffering doesn't last too long, so we'll have to just tolerate it. Or at least dating Cotton at one point.
I was married to him.
What year was that?
Oh gosh, I'd say early 90s.
Long time ago.
Yeah,
When did that stop then?
I was only married to him for 3 years, so it ended in the 90s also.
In the 90s.
Mhm.
Did you stay in touch with him afterwards?
No.
That was it then. So you don't know a whole lot about at least personal information, not what you've heard from other people, but yourself, as far as what happened to him, all that kind of stuff. Is it what you do know? Did it come from his family?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know?
Well, most of it did. Fred Hill told me that he had been found by hikers, and that there was a gash in the back of his head, or the side of his head. That didn't come from his family. That comes from Fred. But Betty Jo Simpson was the one that told me that he had passed.
Okay.
That they'd found him.
Did you hear any more from the family about what they think happened, what could have happened to Cotton?
No, they all have told me that they don't think it was an accident.
They don't.
No.
So they suspect foul play.
Yeah.
Do they specifically suspect a person?
That hasn't been specified. No.
Okay. So yeah, I did want to say real quick that on that one, Glenda was being gracious, I think, because I have at least 2 family members of Simpsons that very clearly say who they suspect. Yeah, I am stealing Wi-Fi from Dollar General next door. I wish we had. Thank you, Chillbilly.
Now come on.
So I think Glenda knows that. I think she was trying to be nice, honestly, in this situation, which was kind of her. But there are at least some of them that do suspect. Fred doesn't mean Fred's guilty. And matter of fact, I'm pointing out here, Pruitt did communicate that email was real to Karen, where he said that Fred is no longer a suspect in Cotton's case. So take that into account too. He's no longer a suspect.
According to
Pruitt, which is the detective, the Hawkins County detective. Okay. So
good to know.
Yeah. Well, I have a hard time with the Cotton case. I have a hard time with that one because of the circumstances, because of hopefully we'll learn more, but Marvin's story that they turned around before Fred said they turned around, and Fred brought Marvin home, and hopefully we'll get more information on this, but the story is he brought Marvin back home. Marvin doesn't know what Fred did after that. It's very weird to me. Yeah, they can lie. I know how Nana feels about this. Um, we want to find the cave, a cave. Now, the family member, one of them told me there's no cave where he fell, and I believe that person.
Mhm.
I don't think if there is a cave, if there's anything in a cave, Cotton could have been trying to get to it for some reason, or from it for some reason. Glenn and I have talked about this forever. We have all these theories about what Cotton was doing. He was very, very intoxicated not intoxicated, but he was his autopsy, which I think 6 Up showed, he had a lot of drugs in him
Mhm.
at the time, so that could have contributed, obviously. I just don't understand why they were following him in the first place. And we're going to get to Glenda gets very, I think it is Glenda, gets very much into, no, Karen talks about something related to this. Laura's reaction to Cotton passing was really strange. If you haven't seen the interview, that part blew my mind. I didn't know what to think. It's very weird. And so I don't know. There's all these weird, like, circumstantial things that point in a very suspicious direction.
Mhm.
And I'm not convinced Pruitt's telling the truth, but I'm also not going to say that Fred was guilty of anything either.
Right.
We don't know yet. Could have been an accident. I heard that claim. What was it? One of the jailhouse interviews. He said he got beat up. I guess. No way to prove or disprove that one.
Not right now, anyway. Maybe someday.
Have to find the inmates that beat him up, I guess. I don't know. Why? That's the question, Dukes. Why did they follow him? They did know he had money. Marvin, I believe, has said that he didn't know. He was going along, but he didn't know why they were following him. But why were they following him? I don't understand. They claimed it was to make sure he was safe. But they could have told him that. They could have said, hey, we'll give you a ride home. Like, we'll go along with you. So, I don't know. Yeah, the missing money was a big deal.
Right.
Money was not found.
Well, that's what I was going to mention, but I don't know what I can mention and what I can't mention.
You can mention, yeah.
Because I don't want to get in trouble. Because then I'll be the one telling a lie.
Yeah.
I don't want to get involved in all that.
I mean, I can correct you if I think it's
Okay.
not true. I agree, Rita. I don't know. It's suspicious. The Cotton thing is just so weird.
Was it? I thought it was Glenda that told us most of that story, but you said it's Karen? I can't remember.
Karen did talk about it. I thought we're going to get to it. But Marvin is a Simpson. I think they followed him and spooked Cotton. I think Cotton was trying to get away from them, possibly.
Wasn't there money involved?
There was money. And the trail we're talking about is behind his, I forgot the relation, but her name is Mary Jo. Nana knows. Nana knows. The corner property right before the trail, he went by there and went into the trail at the top of Laurel Run, went all along that trail, and then for some reason, instead of going straight to go home, he decides to take a right and go into Laurel Run Park, down this steep trail.
Right.
And then he eventually fell over there. And why did he take that right? And we've discussed this, our whole, when we do study sessions, and it's like some people think, well, he was really high and they're unpredictable when they're high. So
that's interesting. Another realm.
7 missing. He says, I stole his money. I haven't been to the US in 9 years.
I mean, do you really have to be here to oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I mean, they would have a lot of evidence in that case of the money and everything. It's just so weird. And I think we do actually get to more of Cotton.
Okay.
Hey, okay. Do you remember where you were on the day Summer Wells disappeared?
Yes, I was moving in here at my brother's place. Me and a friend of mine was unloading the dresser when we heard the helicopters go over. But of course, I didn't get an.
Yes, Joe Billy, we are absolutely going again. We have very good information. We have a
plan.
So only the oldest people in the area know anything about these caves, and again, thanks to Nana, we've got some information from a very elderly person who is not the greatest at giving directions. So we need better directions. But yes, we're going to try to get better directions
Oh my gosh.
to this old cave that's hard to find, and we are going back for the 200th time.
You must know it well.
I know Laurel Run like the back of my hand at this point. Absolutely. Absolutely, Chillbilly, you are totally welcome. 100%. We need many pairs of eyes for this cave, because apparently the opening is extremely small
Quite elusive.
and hard to find. So
Amber Alert or anything, because we didn't have any Wi-Fi or anything down here at that point in time. But we saw the helicopters, but I didn't know until the next day what had happened. And Fred Hill was the one that told me that.
Fred Hill is the first one that told you what happened.
Yeah.
Was it how long after?
It was the next day. It was probably, I'm guess, around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
That he came up here?
Yeah.
And he told you what happened?
Yeah, he told me that the little girl went missing.
So my only takeaway from that one, the reason I wanted to highlight that one, well, she was talking about Summer's case, obviously. All we learned from this section, not all, but what we learned from this section is that immediately after she disappeared, Fred was going around the neighborhood, just talking to neighbors about Summer Wells. He had a habit of gossiping, so I guess it's not that surprising. I just wanted to highlight, like I said, these are clips of everything we learned about related to the Summer Wells case. Whether, take that as, mark that up as just another fact that he was going around talking about Summer, letting people know that she had gone missing. What she say, like the day after or something. There have been claims. Have you seen claims online that you are involved in the disappearance of Summer Wells?
Yes, I've heard Fred and Ziggy mention that online. That's ridiculous. First of all, I didn't even know the little girl existed till after she disappeared. Never knew Don and Candace. Don't know them now. I had no idea, because when I was able to work, I worked, came home. I didn't socialize outside the house. I was tired. I just wanted to go to bed or whatever. So I didn't have any idea who moved in on Ben Hill Road, or for that matter, who moved in on this road. And yes, I was very interested in what happened to Summer. I still am, because I don't feel that it was just one or two people's job. I think maybe somebody on Beach Creek might have had a hand in it. And it really irks my blood to know that I may know somebody that's responsible for doing something like that.
You seem to feel really strongly that someone in the area is responsible, that it wasn't like someone from away. Come on. Drove in there, took off, and just took her out of the area. You feel like somebody around here is responsible.
Yeah.
Is there something
somebody
that had to
know? Somebody that had to know the area.
They had to know the area.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, that's really all I wanted to highlight. The fact that Glenda knows this area well. Glenda knows the people in this area well. For me, the takeaway here was really Glenda would know better than a lot of people. She suspects that someone from the area, not someone from outside the area coming in like this big extravagant cult conspiracy thing. Someone in the area. And I'm leaning in that direction too. A lot of people have said that in the area, it's someone around who knows the area. And the reason they say that is because, number one, to get onto the hill, or to get Summer to come down the hill, they have to know the layout of the 110 Ben Hill. Then they need to know how to get out of the area pretty quickly. And if the footprints have anything to do with it, then they knew how to get through the gap. if you take the footprints into account, the person knew how to get away without going on the main road. They went back into Ben Hill and they knew how to get out through the gap. And not everyone knows that area well enough to do that.
That's true.
In my opinion. And I think Glenda's statement kind of confirms that they had to know the landscape.
Right.
In my opinion. Yes, that is true. Yes. He is one person who knows the area like the back of his hand. There are others.
Yes.
So there are others. Yep. The knowing, you know, if it was a temporary hiding spot, knowing where those are, where are the abandoned properties, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Oh, thank you, Mary. Appreciate that so
you.
much.
Very sweet.
That's very sweet. Thank you for the support. Thank you for supporting the channel.
All of you.
The Wi-Fi story. Did he come up here all the time to use your
Yeah.
Wi-Fi? He did.
Yeah.
No other Wi-Fi. Like, I don't understand. His house is 8 minutes across the hill. Why would he come here to use Wi-Fi?
They would cut his off because he wouldn't pay for it. So then he would come across the hill, either walk across or drive.
Oh
What
no.
happened?
A little bit, but before we get to that, did that stop then?
I was
You were at 17 something.
Thank you.
never knew Don and Candace. Don't know them.
Involved in the disappearance of Summer Wells.
Yes, I've heard Fred and Ziggy socialize outside the house. You know, I was tired. I just wanted to go to bed or whatever. So I didn't.
Sorry,
happened
guys.
this
I
summer,
closed
but
out.
I still am, because I don't feel that it was just one or. It really irks my blood to know that I may know somebody that's responsible for doing something like that.
You seem to feel really off and just took her out of the area. You feel like somebody.
I think so.
Okay, we're back where we were. Sorry about that. I gotta make sure not to click outside of that. The Wi-Fi story. Did he come up here all the time to use your
Yeah.
Wi-Fi? He did.
Yeah.
No other Wi-Fi. Like, I don't understand. His house is 8 minutes across the hill. Why would he come here to use Wi-Fi?
They would cut his off because he wouldn't pay for it. So then he would come across the hill, either walk across or drive up here and use my Wi-Fi.
Because you guys are the only ones that let him, or
Yeah.
oh,
Probably.
okay.
I guess his mom let
He
him.
would go to his parents.
Yeah.
Was Fred here on June 15th to use Wi-Fi?
No. No, I was here all day, most of the day by myself, but a friend of mine came down with a dresser and helped me unload it. His name was Trevor, but Fred never came at all that day, because I like I said, I've been cleaning and moving all that day, so I would have noticed him.
So that's important. That is important. We know Fred wasn't on Light Hollow. I'll explain number 2 in a second. And there was a friend helping her move all day. So the friend, a lot of people have asked me, who's Trevor? Who's Trevor? Trevor was just a neighbor's friend. And the reason I don't think he's important is because we know where he was on June 15th.
True.
He was helping her move. We do have to clarify the Wi-Fi statement. So she says things about Wi-Fi here. I think in her interview, she said she didn't get the Amber Alert because she didn't have a signal. And then she said later, Fred used Wi-Fi, not on the 15th, obviously, but later he did use Wi-Fi often near that place. And nobody has said this, nobody has caught that, but I didn't want people to think it was a conflicting statement. She needs cell phone service to get an Amber Alert, not Wi-Fi.
Right, that's true.
And I think she even says she didn't have Wi-Fi on the 15th. They were moving in. Later, Wi-Fi was hooked up. No, actually, I think Nana confirmed it was earlier.
Well, it was probably before
No.
or on the day that they moved in.
Yeah.
Right?
And she may have had Wi-Fi, but she didn't have cell phone signal, so she said she didn't get the Amber Alert. So it's not a conflicting statement, but it could have sounded like that. So I just want to highlight she wasn't conflicting herself when she said those two things, even though it might have sounded like it in the interview. Just wanted to clarify. Do you know the people that were mentioned? You guys have watched the Summer Wells videos, so you know the rumors about who was at Fred's property. Did you know any of the people that are named? We're talking Chad Arnold, Of course, Cotton Simpson we've talked about, Marvin Simpson.
Mr. Go.
Of those people, can you think of any? I guess, do you know of any of them that you know for a fact, either people you've talked to, who they were there on the road that day? I guess we'll start with that one. Do you know anything about any of them being on that road?
Chad said something about it, but I can't remember what he said.
He did say he saw Candace down there that day.
Yeah,
But other than that,
it seems like he was. It seems like he was telling me what the cops had asked him about it, and he was telling me what he told them about Candace being down there.
Chad told you this directly.
Yeah.
Did he say around what time? Do you recall that at all?
No, he didn't.
But he said he saw Candace on the road that day.
Yeah, not Fred's.
At Fred's.
Yeah,
At some time on that day. Before the cops arrived.
he probably told me a time, but I didn't.
Not showing it.
It didn't register.
Hold on. And I just killed.
Oh my God, Ryan.
No, my mouse battery completely died. So
We're gonna restructure.
I will answer what you guys are talking about the gate for one thing.
You're not showing the video.
Yeah, I know. I'll show the video in a second. I'm sorry for playing the video, not showing you guys, but I did see all the gate comments and I wanted to talk about it because which gate are you guys talking about for one thing? We'll talk about the gate because we've driven by there. I think you guys are talking about Fields Road. The gate that Jody Sue said was there when they went there. There's two roads. There's the one that goes to the right. You go up Fields Road. There's one that goes to the right to the to all the areas that the Bernards owned and sold at one point. There's a gate on the front of that road, and I think there's a gate on the front of that road, and I think that's the one she was talking about. If you go all the way at the end of Fields Road to the road will eventually go up Chimney Top. And it's the end of that road. There's another gate, and if you watch the video of Andy and myself driving, we went to that gate, and he tried to open it, and he said the lock was changed. That may be it, but I don't know what gate you guys are talking about, or the one that Jody Sue's talking about. There's multiple gates, and the first one is the one that goes to the Bernards property. The first one that the Bernards owns. So I get confused when people talk about the gate because there's several. Talking about the gate that was excessive amounts of trees and foliage in front of it, not the gate that goes into the person's driveway property. Excessive amount of trees and foliage. Neither of those have excessive amount of trees and foliage. There is a gate across the field, right in front of the cabin that kept getting talked about. Maybe that's the one. Large brown gate.
What?
I need that red cable. The large brown gate with excessive amount of trees. Foliage that goes into the Bernards property. Okay. I think then I know which one you guys are talking about, or everyone's talking about, and that's across the field. You have to cross like a little brook bridge thing. And then I guess there's a gate there. That would be the one. I get it. So what's the question about the gate? When it was put up? There's no gate on Ben Hill. No. I've got to plug in my mouse, you guys, so that I can actually use my wireless mouse. Give me a sec. Jen will entertain you with her beauty. Excuse me.
Hi, guys. I'm just reading the comments. I'm not a talker, so I'm not great at filling the gap, I guess. But
Filling the gap.
I'm here for your emotional. They can't even hear me anyway.
Is the mouse back? Is it back? Come on, give me my mouse. Off. On.
It's the light's on.
I mean, there's a lot of people that won't let you search their property. I mean,
Yeah.
the Bernards did. I mean,
They searched some of their property.
Andy's property was searched first by us,
Right.
and it wasn't a good thing. we ended up sharing it, and he ended up getting, you know, people trashed the property online. They made fun of it. They made fun of, and that's the Bernard's property. It was his mom's property, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think they.
And so it was, I blame YouTubers for them not letting us search anymore because they didn't want any more of that nonsense online.
I don't blame them. I mean,
So-
he did say that it was, you know, a bit messy. I mean, you can't deny it was a bit messy there,
Yes.
but yeah, there were some things said that were beyond messy.
Oh, there isn't a gate on 110 driveway, or it's always open maybe. But yeah, at the end of Ben Hill, Redmond's, beyond Redmond's, yes, there's a gate there. I don't think that's new either. I think it's been there a while. Man, you guys are all over the place.
I think that's why I'm having a hard time focusing.
Vacant property down by the fire tower.
Oh. Something we haven't looked at
I
yet?
don't know. You guys got to show me a pin on a map and I can go out there, but some of the things people describe doesn't even match what's out there. So I'd get really confused.
Thank you, Running Bear. That's what I was talking about.
What? That's true. All right,
Yeah.
we'll get back to the interviews. I'm going to use this mouse right here. We're getting to Karen soon. There's some more Karen cover that's really interesting too.
So on June the 15th, who was living in the house back there?
Nobody.
I did want to ask about that though. Ricky.
What did
Ricky
you,
was.
Not on the 15th.
Okay.
No, he was getting ready to move in around that time. He was bringing stuff over here, but he hadn't actually moved in over here. He hadn't spent the night over here.
Okay. So he was here often, but not living there yet.
Right.
So on the 15th, Ricky Crawford was in the process of moving into that house.
Yeah. He and
Oh.
Celeste.
How long did they live there?
Probably about 6 or 7 months.
Not very long.
Hmm.
So that is something that Ricky's story. Is Ricky still alive?
Yeah.
He's still alive.
His dad's passed.
Was he close to Fred?
Yes.
Was he a troublemaker?
Yes.
Did he steal stuff?
Yes.
Do you think him and Fred were?
In cahoots? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And he's living right here.
Yeah.
Do you think he was? Actually, you were here that day. Do you know if Ricky was here that day on the 15th?
No, there wasn't anybody here that day.
There was nobody here.
No.
Not even Ricky.
Mm.
Okay. So we can't place Ricky on that day.
No.
So I guess I'm going to fly through you guys. I'm kind of highlighting the things that was said related to Summers' case and what we learned. And what we learned from this section is Fred and Ricky were very close. They were in cahoots. They even said when things got stolen, they suspected both.
were they long-term friends?
They were, I don't know if they were long-term. She said they were close and in cahoots.
Mhm.
We also learned, we don't know Ricky's whereabouts on the 15th. We just know that he was not on Light Hollow Road on the 15th. So again, I'm not claiming Ricky's a suspect or anything. I'm just saying that he is a person locally that we don't know his location on that day.
It'd be
And-
easier for you if I was not here.
And he's close to and he's close to Fred. So
Ryan's using his
this other mouse.
other mouse, which is
Was Frank Light down here weed eating around the church on the 15th?
Absolutely not.
Frank Light was not weed eating around the church. I've heard that
No.
story.
Yeah, I've heard it several times. Frank Light has not been down here in many, many years. Let alone down here drinking with my brother. That would never happen.
Wasn't that his alibi?
Yeah.
At some church, but they
Yeah.
didn't say which church.
At a church. So we just know it wasn't this one that he was
Right.
weed eating at. Okay.
But they said it was there was a trailer or a living
structure.
structure. Thank you. Behind the church that Frank was supposed to have come out of when he was drinking. It wasn't my brother's trailer. It wasn't my brother he was drinking with. I have no idea who he was talking about or which church around here that he was talking about.
Okay. Go into the computer.
if you have a port for this, you can use that.
Okay.
Or if you don't, you can just use that.
Okay, so what we learned from that, you guys all know the alibi, Frank Light's alibi was he was at a church. Could you turn that on for me? And I think some people thought it was this church, and we learned it's not. We don't know what church he was at. We're not saying this didn't debunk his alibi or anything. We're just saying Glenda is just saying the one on the end of Light Hollow is not the one they're talking about. That's all. So another little factoid that we got from Glenda's interview, whatever church he was allegedly coming out of, I think they said he was drinking or working there or something. It wasn't this church. Another little fact for the Sowells notebook takers. Good question. Yeah, do you have any statements you'd like to make in general about anything about the Beach Creek?
I've lived in Beach Creek area the biggest majority of my life. There's good people in Beach Creek. Most of them are church-going people. There is a few bad eggs here and there, but we all know who they are.
Okay.
And we try to stay away from them. But occasionally they do creep up on you. But for the most part, everybody down in here are really good.
I actually helped with
People.
Technology.
They're honest people. They wouldn't steal if it was laying in front of them. But I can't say the same for Ricky, Marlena, or Fred Hill.
Again, little factoids here. If you if you just listen to what she's saying, we learned some new information, at least for us anyway. She believes that the three names she mentioned are the bad eggs in the community. She was saying, somebody said to me, somebody actually commented on this saying, how could she call the community good? It's like they're all a bunch of they're all a bunch of druggies. And
Someone said that.
what Glenda was point she's trying to make is the community is not bad. There are a few bad eggs and everyone knows who they are. And she listed 3 of them.
And I'm afraid that some people just assume that everyone there is like that, just, because of their culture and all those things, but it's not true.
No, they're good people. I mean, we're learning really quick that there are so many good people in this area. And there are also some really bad people. Like Robin said, there's some in every community.
Right.
But, it has a bad reputation because back in the day, people who lived there their whole lives will tell us, you didn't go in Beach Creek or you were going to get shot. Like you could easily get shot.
Right.
It was really bad. It's not like that today.
No, we were scared at first, when we started.
Because of the rumors. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. So those 3 names she mentioned are 3 names that many people have mentioned. I'm not going to say they're connected to the Sumwall's case, but those are the 3 people she says are not to be trusted. So Chad Arnold, would you put him in that circle of bad eggs?
Of bad eggs? No, not when it comes to the situation with Summer. No.
Do you think he knows something though?
Maybe, but if he does, I don't think it's very much. Right after Summer disappeared, and I don't have any proof because both people have passed away. They both told me out of their own mouth. And I'm not sure if Stephen was there when they told me. But
come on.
Go back up on it. Seems
the subject of Summer came up. And Fred said, well, I bet I know where that little girl's at. And David Bay said,
this is important too. Thanks, Barbara Ray.
well, for God's sake, if you know where that little girl's at, go tell the authorities. he said, well, I can't prove it, but I think she's in Indiana. Doug Gott and David Bays was there, and they both told me the same story.
Really? Doug Gott and David Bays have passed away. She says later, and I wanted to correct this because Glenda actually texted me and said she misspoke after this and said she mentioned Chad. It was Doug Gott and David Bays were there when Fred said this, and he mentioned he believes she's in Indiana. Because, and a lot of people, I mean, you can see Jen was like, what? It's funny. I personally am not giving any weight to that story either, because like I said, when a person's been, their lives have been just one lie after another, anything they say, you don't know.
Right.
You don't know. And I don't know why he would have decided to say Indiana. This was before he met, you know,
A certain person?
yeah. And so it is really weird that he says Indiana and now he's living in Indiana. That's the only really strange thing about it. But I don't know. I don't know what to think about that claim by Fred. With two witnesses who are now can't say that,
Passed away.
but Glenda was a witness, and I believe her. I don't know. I didn't see that, Nicole. Not sure what you're talking about, but I'd like to see it. It's interesting. I don't. Did you guys, when you heard this Indiana thing, what did you all think? I'm just curious. Any weight to it? Anything at all relevant, or is it just another claim? It wasn't online. It was local. It was
When was it a claim?
two locals.
Before?
I don't remember if she said the year actually.
Was it? Okay, I can't see.
It was after, and it was when they were all sitting around just talking about Summer's case.
No, but I mean before or after he met a certain person that lives in
I
Indiana.
want to say before. We'll have to confirm. I don't think it was after.
So I don't know. That's
Yeah.
weird.
Kim doesn't believe it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We definitely need that.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
And I don't know if Chad, I've not mentioned it to Chad since he told me that, but I don't know if he told the cops that or not. I'm sure he.
She messed up there. Glenda wanted me to make it clear. She messed up here. She meant those other two guys. Chad was not there during this whole thing. When Fred said that, Chad was not witness to that. She said the wrong name accidentally.
He did.
Yeah, Chad's apparently
Because he's been pulled into the interrogated like 6 or 7 times.
Who's been interrogated 6 or 7 times?
Chad.
I don't know. I don't
Arnold?
watch DMs, so I don't know.
Do you know by whom?
Cops.
I know, but
No, I don't know if it was
Hawkins or
Ronnie or it was Hawkins County, but I don't know if it was Ronnie or Pruitt or whoever.
Okay, so Chad has been interrogated.
Yeah.
The only thing we learned from that, Chad apparently has been interrogated several times. It was interesting though, earlier Glenda said that she did not think Chad is involved, possibly knows something a little. But he has been interrogated six to seven times in the case. I don't know I don't know where Chase would have gotten it. Maybe it was this story, possibly. I don't know.
Where was Pete on June the 15th?
He was at Hostin Valley Hospital. He just had open heart surgery.
Pete Clark, another one accused of being involved in someone else's case. He was in the hospital. We have not yet gotten records, bills, whatever. I've asked Glenda if she doesn't mind sharing, just because, anything you have just further confirms.
She said he was having heart surgery.
He was having open heart surgery.
So that would make him kind of not able to do anything.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. And he's in the hospital
Mm-hmm.
on the 15th. I think Fred claimed even after this interview, that Pete had only gone in the hospital after someone disappeared. it's Pete's word against Glenda's. So pick who you want to
Right.
believe, but I believe Glenda personally.
And where were you on June the 15th?
I was here.
And Glenda was also accounted
And
for.
did you see anyone on June the 15th?
Only my son and Trevor, the guy that helped me unload the dresser. I didn't see Fred or anybody else that day.
Does Trevor have any kind of weird background? Is he a bad egg or in any way?
No.
He's just a
He's just
local person.
yeah, no neighbor's
Okay.
friend. I wish I could remember his last name, but I can't.
And I only have to ask because once you name a name that people haven't heard, there's going to be all kinds of speculation.
Yeah.
So he's just a local here that's a regular person.
Yeah, he just helped me unload the dresser.
Okay. Yeah. We just covered those. I'm going to fly right through you guys. We're going to get to Karen.
So let's talk about number one, the date I'm just good. June 15th, 2021. Where were you?
How does it work
All day?
all day?
Was it where did you work around here?
At that time, I was working for a greenhouse
Okay.
flower shop. We had just opened our second location, which was at the end of Memorial Boulevard.
Do you remember what time you start work in the morning that day?
I believe it was around 8,
8 a.m.
Mhm.
And you finished
6.
Yeah, I wanted to make that clear. We ask everyone that question, not just Karen. Anyone we interview, where were you on the 15th? Obviously she's accounted for as well. I did want to talk about this here. To be fair, we have no evidence that she is a drinker. She accuses others of it, like Adrian, and so I shouldn't defend everybody. Don't see evidence. I missed that comment, earlier comments.
When did you first hear about Summers?
After I got home from work, I had Mrs. Julie checking on her. It was something we did every day. And she was telling me that
Thank you, Neville.
a little girl on Ben Hill Road had went missing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know there was a little girl on Ben Hill Road,
Did you know anything about the wells before that?
No.
You didn't even know them either?
No, I knew Karen Goad owned that property,
Okay.
and I didn't even know she had passed away. I just thought Karen Goad's property, she still lives there. I didn't know anything about Dawn Wells, Candace.
Initial instinctive reactions.
Yeah,
What was that?
I asked Julie, I said, oh my God, what has Fred done?
That was your first reaction?
That was my first reaction. She said, I don't know what to think.
You guys close? Were you close?
We were close then.
Did you get a sense of how she was thinking?
She was concerned and curious as much as I was, because the only reference we had at that point, I take that back, I did know about Summer Wells.
You did. How?
Because 3 weeks before Summer went missing, I didn't know her name. I just knew a little girl. Julie had went to the store for
We covered the bike earlier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about the bike, so I'm going to go a little bit ahead.
mom. Fred and Laura had rode with her. And the girl's bike was laying there. Why would he want a little girl's bicycle? He doesn't have kids. He's not her to stop and back up. And she said, why? He said, I'm van up, and she said, I didn't know what to do, so I just backed up and said,
When was the next contact or anything you had with either you going down to Ben Hill Road, seeing Fred, being on that property after she disappeared?
5 days later,
5 days later, you went down to which property?
165, and then Mom sent us to 207 to check on Fred and check her mail.
You were just doing your usual check-ins at that point.
Yeah. And, I had drove down and parked at Julie's and rode with Julie, because it just don't make no sense, both of us taking our vehicle to go to the same destination.
5 days later, were the searches still happening when you were there?
Yes.
Did you see any of them?
No, I didn't see nobody. They didn't have the road blocked off at that time or anything. We didn't see nobody coming in the holler or going back out. They still had helicopters in the air and stuff at that time.
Did you see any of those?
I didn't myself, but I remember calling Mom, and the helicopters were so close to their house, hovering over the house, that I could hear the helicopter over the phone, and Mom couldn't hardly hear me talk.
The reason this was interesting to me is it does kind of proves they were searching that end of Ben Hill Road. They were also searching over and behind Fred's, which goes like 8-minute walk to Light Hollow. So it was all thoroughly searched, at least by the air.
Do you know if the pond behind his house was searched?
Yes, they had a dive team in it.
The big pond behind it, right over the hill from the
Oh, Dad had a pond, and I know it was searched.
That was searched. Okay.
I don't know about the one across the
Okay.
hill. I'm assuming they did, because if they took the time to search Dad's little pond, then they would have searched
Pretty sure they did.
Yeah.
multiple ones. I mean, I heard that there were multiple ponds searched.
Yep.
And the picture on the news
Of them in the
of
water.
them in the water, that's Dad's pond.
No way.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I know they searched the one near Glenda's too.
Yeah. So that's the other.
Yeah, I
two.
said that. Yeah.
Again, I wanted to search the big pond. I didn't know if that big pond over the hill from Fred's had been searched. So the picture on the news was of her father's pond being searched. We heard from Glenda the pond near theirs had been searched, and both Nana and Karen believe the big pond has been searched. I think everything has been dove.
I would
in
think
that
so.
area.
That
Yeah. Good question. So nobody knows, Sadie. However, someone told me recently that someone had found a tricycle or a little bike down a ditch, almost like someone had gotten rid of it. Is that a rumor? That's a rumor. Okay. Am I thinking of something else?
Yes.
Okay, never mind.
Different case.
Is it a different case?
Yeah.
No, I'm not thinking of I am thinking of this one.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Oh, really? That's cool, Robin.
Oh, wow.
Oh, don't mention SD cards, Tina Twister. That's a whole other thing. That's a
So much.
whole other thing.
When you did do the search at Fred's, did you find anything at all that you had to turn into TBI or law enforcement?
Yes, I did. There was.
Oh, thank you, Gavel. I knew I remembered that. So yeah, Summer's bike was found on the backside of the property, according to Gavel. So.
Okay. What appeared to be two tarps layered on each other, a blue one on the outside, a silver one on the inside, and they had been pulled up into a bundle about this big and put in a ravine. And I didn't know what it was. I just pulled it open, and it was.
We're getting to the hair thing, which we did talk about earlier. Anybody late coming in? I do, Sparker. I believe law enforcement. I think they know. I really do. I think they know what happened. I don't think they have the evidence that they need. I really think TBI knows what happened.
Yeah, and they won't charge until they have enough evidence that they can prove it.
They would without a body. They
still would.
They would, but they need overwhelming evidence,
Mhm.
right? So I think it's going to happen. I just don't think it's going to be. It might be soon. It's been 5 years, so they've had a lot of time. I do. I agree with Nana. I think they are really close. They even said, in the interview, they just need one more little thing. I think they're very close. I do think they know. They just need evidence, enough evidence. It's possible, Joe Billy. I mean, there are other cases, we've seen it, where law enforcement searched a pond
Many times, supposedly.
and eventually the person was found there. So it doesn't mean that there isn't something there. It just means it's been searched by law enforcement. They don't always find it first time around, unfortunately. And there were several bikes too, so.
Yeah.
Almost there, Jen, don't worry.
Ashes fell out.
Ashes.
It was like someone had cleaned out a stove or a burn pit or a burn barrel or something. It's ashes.
Were there particles in it of any kind?
Yeah.
We talked a bit about the hair earlier. If you guys have any other questions about it, I'm going to skip ahead because we ended up discussing this early on in this live. So I'm probably going to go ahead. We talked about the hair. Law enforcement does have it.
was curious, why would someone bundle up ashes and a big wad of hair come out?
That's crazy, Cindy.
And it was
So then you obviously called the law enforcement.
and
When this happened?
my two sons.
Okay, so they witnessed this too.
Yeah. And when the second TBI agent pulled up, the only part of the conversation that I heard was the first agent told the second agent, it's definitely human hair and we've got a huge problem.
Really?
And that was the end of what I heard them say because I walked away. By that time, a couple of Hawkins County investigators had pulled up. So they had went and talked with each other, and I asked them, I said, is there any need for me to be here? If not, I want to leave.
Did they collect the evidence?
Yes.
Did they search any other areas?
I don't know because they told me that it was okay for me to leave,
Okay.
that they would contact me if they needed to talk with me. And I left them my information and I left.
This part, you could tell it really bothered
Yeah.
Karen, and I was like, I'm such a dork. I'm like, why did you want to leave? And she's like, why would I want to be there?
Right.
Because I'm thinking like me, I want to see what they do and everything. She's like, I don't want to witness this.
Right. I don't blame her.
You know, to her, it was like, if this is Summer, she does not want to be there. And I get it. And I felt bad for asking that question, but I don't know that anyone has said no to law enforcement. Anyone we talked to, they allowed them to search.
Right.
Do you remember Laura's reaction to Cotton Simpson's?
This is important.
Can you tell us that story?
I know what I was told by Mom and by Julie.
If you guys haven't seen this interview, to me, this was because I'm really interested in the Cotton case. This is really important in my opinion. Really important. Yes, huge red flag. I agree. This to me was, I was sitting there with like on the edge of my seat. I could not believe this. I don't know what it means. I'm not going to apply anything, but it was very interesting and very important in my opinion.
On separate occasions, and they both told me the same story, that Mom and Julie both were there at the house and Laura was in the kitchen on her phone, and all of a sudden she starts screaming, they found him, they found him, they found him. And she was crying, having a full-blown panic attack, and just tore all to pieces. And all she kept repeating was, oh my God.
Oh my God.
They
Come on.
found him.
They found him.
And she ran out of the house
I'm so sorry, you guys.
and went to the barn where Fred was at to tell him. She came back in the house after that and had calmed down some. And then Fred came in the house and she said that Fred's only comment was, well, I figured somebody would get him for that money when he left.
She said what?
She said that they both told me that Fred commented that I knew somebody would get Cotton for his money.
Help me understand this. Laura said she had met Cotton how many times? I think it's just 3 times.
So Nana's getting to the crux of it, and this was really helpful to me. I hadn't seen the interview that they were talking about. Nana and Karen obviously had seen the interview, so I wasn't putting 2 and 2 together when Karen was explaining Laura's reaction. And so her reaction was huge. Obviously, she freaked out. She freaked out. She was having a full-blown panic attack, saying they found him, they found him, they found him. And then this next section, and I don't know what to think.
According to her words, just a few times, 2 or 3 times.
And he what?
And on her interview, she said that.
I don't know if you guys could hear that. Hold on. I was showing the first part, right? Hopefully.
Get Cotton for his money.
Help me understand this. Laura said she had met Cotton how many times? I think it's just 3 times.
According to her words, just a few times, 2 or 3 times.
And he what?
And on her interview, she said that he gave her the creeps. She felt like he was under. Dressing her with his eyes, and she didn't want nothing to do with him.
So why would you get so upset?
That's the part that I don't understand, because I didn't know how she felt about Cotton. But then she did that interview on YouTube, and she said that she had only seen him a few times. She hadn't spoke to him. She didn't know nothing about him, that she didn't like him. He gave her the creeps. And then, that just did not correspond with the reaction that she gave when she seen on social media that Cotton had been found.
Right. Do you know? Did she tell anybody, or do you guys know? Did she say that she was there when Cotton? Because I know a few hours before, Cotton had been at his place to pick up some drugs or something.
All I know is what she said on the YouTube interview was that Cotton had come to talk to Fred about buying a boat, and she said that he had talked to Fred something about summer wells.
Come on, we're almost there. We have to fix our connection, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And she asked Fred what he said, and Fred told her that she didn't need to know.
It was about summer wells.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
And then that he wouldn't tell her because she didn't need to know.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Yeah. And I will say the first part came from a YouTube review. So that was Laura herself saying that she didn't really know Cotton and didn't really trust him. So she didn't know Cotton very well. Right. The second part, she freaked out. She had extreme emotional reaction hearing Cotton was found unalived. Those two things don't make any sense together.
No.
They make no sense. However, we do have to look at it. The second one was secondhand from Julie about the emotional reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Karen didn't see the emotional reaction. So again, this is secondhand from Julie. So if we believe Julie, I believe Karen heard that from Julie. So if we believe Julie, it doesn't make sense. Those two things just don't.
No, they don't jive.
No, it does make me think that Laura knows more. It does make me think Laura knows more. I'm sorry. About the Cotton situation, anyway. I don't know about the Summer situation. But definitely about the Cotton situation. And she tried to implicate Cotton in Summer's case when she said that Fred had come in and said this thing that Cotton was there for was about Summer, when we heard also that it was about the money.
Right.
So I don't know what to believe. All these conflicting statements just don't make any sense. Yeah, that too. Him and Laura still talk. Karen covered that aspect of it in her interview as well. So I hope you do. If you haven't seen Karen's interview, watch it, because she explains it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That they still talk every day, even though she's married to another woman and all that. It's weird. I don't know. I am curious what you guys think. Yeah. I guess if you're married 20 years, you're kind of, and if you know something serious, you're kind of tied to the
I
hip.
thought he said they were never married.
Or together 20
Yeah,
years.
he said they weren't married.
Okay. If that's true.
I don't know. That's what I heard him say.
Yep.
That doesn't mean anything, I guess.
I agree. Laura knows everything Fred knows, so so weird. I don't know. Stella.
What?
It doesn't make any sense. So anyway, yeah, we've got Laura doing kind of flip-flopping and knows, I think she knows something. I think she knows more.
Good.
So me and Julie goes down to 165 the next.
Yeah, right, LD. Probably. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised, but whatever.
I do think it's multiple people.
Yeah.
Stay, and Laura's there, and we're asking her what they had to serve a warrant. What was he charged with? What were they arresting? And she said she did not know. She was all to pieces because both sisters were there in her face. I mean, we weren't there to be in her face. We were there to get answers.
Was this the time you got arrested for the meth
Yes.
manufacturing and all that stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, we were trying to figure.
And I included this part too. This is again about Laura, and this is another emotional reaction. If you haven't seen this is also interesting. There's not a lot you can draw from it. It's just another emotional reaction that's very strange. Following a question that Karen asked her specifically about, I think it was about Summer actually. So
Yeah.
Figure out what he was being arrested for that justified a $250,000 bond.
Yeah.
come on.
And I remember just directly talking to Laura and saying, you know, don't fuck with me right now. I want to know why he's got a $250,000 bond. Who did they arrest him for murdering? Or what in the hell is going on? I said, tell me now. And don't fuck with me. Did he have something to do with Summer Wells' disappearance? She sat down on the bed.
Sorry.
She was already sitting on the bed. She put her knees, her elbows on her knees and her face in her hands, and couldn't even look me in the eye, and all she did was sit there and just shake her head no. And I don't know if that was her trying to just get out of the situation. She never answered me.
She wouldn't verbally answer that much.
She never verbally answered me. All she did was sit and this is what she was doing. I don't know what answer to take from that. There was never a no. She wouldn't look me in the eye, and she wouldn't verbally say anything.
So yeah, I don't know. She specifically asked about Summer, and I wrote these notes to remind myself. I was going through. I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, what would this be? What would that be? And help me out, guys, because I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. Fred had just gotten arrested, so she could have been overwhelmed by the fact that he just got arrested. She knows he's going to be in prison for who knows how long. So overwhelmed with the situation. Number two, she has knowledge of Cotton's unaliving, and she knew that Fred could be implicated in that. She might have known because we know he was given a lie detector test in prison. So we know that they were looking at him related to the Cotton case, and she might have known about the Cotton situation. So maybe it's that. And, you know, Karen did ask about Summer, but maybe Laura's like, oh my gosh, he's going to get in trouble for Cotton.
She's probably overwhelmed.
And then it could also be knowledge about Summer.
Yeah.
That's one of the options. Or just overwhelmed by the whole situation. The two sisters there grilling her, and maybe that was it. I can't even imagine. I don't know. It could have been any one of those things. The reaction was, again, her emotional reaction was really strange given the situation, but there could be a lot of explanations.
Yeah.
Laura is, I'm not going to say suspicious, but red flags. A lot of red flags. She has to know something. I think she knows something about something. Whether it was Cotton or Summer, she knows something about one of these situations. Or both.
She thought something, you know.
Like suspected, possibly that he was, and just suspecting it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't Laura try to sell some drugs to a car? I didn't hear that. Somebody else might know.
I don't know anything about her.
Yeah, I
really.
can't confirm that one. Thank you, Robin, for highlighting those cases. And
Thank
Jennifer
you.
Elliott.
Yep.
We got to get back to that mountain, Glenn. Someday. We have a lot of things we're trying to do.
Right.
The cave first.
Right.
The cave first. Yeah, or a boat. Could have been the boat, maybe.
Final word.
And like I said, it's not Team Fred. It's not Team Andy, Team Karen, it's not Team anybody. It's Team Summer.
You want that child found.
I really do. You know, I don't live on Beach Creek, and I haven't since I was 17. But that is my hometown community. There's a lot of people down there, good people that I care for, that have been dragged through the mud.
It is when I
and talked about their histories, their past, their mistakes that they have made in their life, regardless of how good they're doing now. That has absolutely nothing to do with the Summer Wells case and should never have been talked about, just like anything before June the 15th, 2021 in my life has nothing to do with Summer. But yet here we are. Just like with Glenda, with Bill, with Steve, with
Amen, sister.
Marvin, with
Cotton.
Cotton. I mean, my mom, my dad, anybody that has been brought up from that community, it should never have happened.
I wanted to make Karen, I wanted to let Karen have the last word because she said that so
I know.
well. Better than anyone I think could possibly have said, because it really, people get wrapped up in this is like, I'm pro Andy, I'm pro Fred. It's like these sides or all the names that she mentioned and all the locals that have been dragged in through the mud. Like, you can't. And if you are Team Summer, you have to set all that aside and only focus on the things that are connected or related to the Summer Wells case. And that's kind of why we wanted to do this tonight, because these are the clips, these are the things we can learn some things from these interviews. We are trying to debunk and help locals who have been dragged through the mud. But at the same time, by doing these interviews, we possibly can get more information related to the Summer Wells case.
That's the whole,
that's the game. That's the whole thing.
End game.
Yeah. So that's why we wanted to do this. I didn't expect this to take 3 hours, although I knew this 30 minutes clips.
Oh, I knew it would.
We will try to get our connection better, you guys. I don't know why in the world it's doing this, but I'm going to try to hook up the actual wire.
Thank you for being patient.
Yeah, thank you for being patient. It is not only, it's multiple creators. It's not just one. It happens a lot, and it would be nice if everyone could just focus on Summer's case. And if you do want to look into someone related to Summer's case, get your facts straight, get the documentation, get the evidence, real evidence, not speculation and rumor. And then if you want to cover the evidence that you found, then lay out the evidence and tell the story. But like getting some rumor from someone else who's related to someone else and then just throwing that rumor out there and ripping apart families. Like, I didn't show the Bill Shipley interview tonight because it didn't have a lot related to someone else's case, but it's a good example of that ruined that family, you guys. That bringing that relationship out in the open that had no business, no relationship to someone else's case. Bringing that out in the open. We talked to relatives who, like his other wife, who they claimed he had unalived. They didn't even have a good relationship with Bill. And they were destroyed by the story of their family members passing, getting on YouTube.
Right.
And the wonderful thing that came of his interview, whether you like him or not, the family actually healed a little bit from that whole thing, because I don't know if you saw it, but Bill, on one of our community posts we made, he apologized for what he said about the unaliving, and the family kind of mended a little bit. And that was a wonderful thing to see. And hopefully that's just in the past, left behind. That type of thing shouldn't happen because it has nothing to do with Summer Wells.
Yep.
There's no evidence. It was just rumor. It was just it was just drama in a family. It had nothing to do with Summer. So I hope everyone can stay focused on Summer going forward with your research, with what you publish. Gavel, I'm really looking forward to your clearing up of the misinformation out there. We're really looking forward to that
yeah,
too.
yeah, that'll be great.
Nana, looking forward to whatever we do on the weekend.
Oh, just surprise us.
One day she'll be like, "This is what we're doing today." Yes, today.
Right now.
Yeah. Chillbilly, thank you for offering to help search for the cave. That's probably going to be soon, I hope, and Glenn too, and anyone else who is local here and wants to help out. All eyes are important for that one.
Yeah.
But
we also need to train Moon some more, because
Glenn, we might need your help this weekend. We're doing live tracking with Moon because her certification's coming up, and we need a hider. So if you don't mind going to a park with us and hiding deep in the woods, and bring a dirty piece of clothing too, because her surprises do work, right? So we're gonna keep moving on, you guys. I don't know what interviews next. We haven't lined anything up yet. There's a lot of discussions going on. We've gotten a lot of suggestions from all of you, which we appreciate.
Yeah.
Again, we're trying to focus. We want to focus on people in and around the area when summer disappeared. We're going to do our best to stick to those stories. We are continuing to clear up the misinformation as well. So that's part of it, but we're really trying to focus on Summer Wells in her case. So we have a lot going on. We have other cases that we're neglecting, and I want to hit this weekend too. We have so much, and we're preparing Moon. So we'll get what we can done. We appreciate you all so much. Thank you for staying here this whole time tonight. I'm sorry it's so late. We love you all. Thank you for being so good in chat and polite. We didn't have a single troll, I don't think, so it was wonderful.
No, that was great.
Yeah, and moderators are fantastic. We love you all.
Yes.
Don't know when we'll be live next. We try to do these once a week, but as you can tell, we have a lot going on and we're really busy. So we try to do a live, and then you have all your running that you do and your
my stuff.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mary. I'm sorry.
Oh, geez. Okay, well, we're done.
Yeah. Sorry, everyone. All right. Have a great night, morning, whatever it is where you are. We love you all. We appreciate you all so much. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Love you guys.